Hello, welcome to the Football Social with Sky Bet. We are live right now on Soccer M and Football Daily's YouTube channel for a big watch-along. It is, of course, the Manchester derby, Man United against Man City. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doing battle with Pep Guardiola once again this season. Uh, 85 combined England caps between everyone on the sofa. First up, making his second appearance, delighted to say, former Man City player, Sean Wright-Phillips is back. Shawnee, great to have you back. How much are you looking forward to this game?
I'm looking forward to a lot. I'm a bit worried about the odds you lot set me up with in there. 2 Man United fans and 1 City fan, but let's see how it goes.
And you didn't know about that before we booked you, did you? You didn't know it would be balanced towards Man United. Alongside you, delighted to say, making a debut on the show, a former England player. We've got Arsenal, Chelsea, Philadelphia you played for, but big Man United fan for today. Leanne Sanderson making a debut. Leanne, thank you so much for coming on. You're a big red, aren't you?
Yes, my mum did say to me today, make sure you keep yourself calm when you're on
Your
there
mum said that?
because I'm a nightmare when it comes to Man United. Like in California, wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because of the time difference, and it ruins my weekend. I'm like a different person when it comes to Man United. So I'm going to try and keep calm today.
Perfect for the Football Social. And of course, you two know each other very well.
Fellow South East Londoners.
There we go. So is this going to be amicable? If one of your teams takes an early lead, is this going to be an amicable day, do you think?
Let's see how it goes.
I love that. And of course, Sean didn't mention the balance is a bit unfair. Mikey McCubbin is back. Man United. Mikey, how are you feeling? A lot of Man United on the show today.
Not too bad actually. Yeah, I'm feeling quietly confident about the game today.
Are you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
I think the pressure's not too. I don't know. For some reason, I just don't feel the pressure today as much.
There we go.
As usual.
And the most neutral. As always, Birmingham City fan Will Brazier back by popular demand, I will say, on Social Corner. Will, just remind the viewers how they can get in touch with the show.
Yes, if you want to get involved, use the hashtag TFS at Football Daily at Soccer AM. I'm watching the screen now, so get your questions in and we'll ask the best ones to the panel.
Yeah, get them in right now. OK, of course, this wasn't the only fixture of the weekend. We can have a reminder of yesterday's results in the Premier League. Here we go. So, Liverpool coming from a goal behind to beat Bournemouth 2-1. It is looking likely that Liverpool, surely this is going to be the year they win their first ever Premier League title. It was a close game at the Emirates, but Arsenal, thanks to that VAR goal, taking all 3 points against West Ham. Crystal Palace, 1-0 winners against Watford. And what a season it's been for Chris Wilder and his men. Another win. Sheffield United beating bottom of the table Norwich by that single goal. Newcastle winning at St Mary's by 1-0. No goals at Molineux. And a Dele Alli penalty. Cancelling out, easy for me to say, Chris Wood's early goal. So that one finishing 1-1. And there was an early game as well. Frank Lampard going up against his former manager, of course, in Carlo Ancelotti. Cold day at Stamford Bridge by the looks of it, but all 3 points for Chelsea. Look at that scoreline, 4-0. Whoa. Goals from Mount, thank you, Will. Goals from Mount, Pedro, Willian and Giroud. 3 of those 4 players, interestingly, all out of contract in the summer, but emphatic 3 points and a man-of-the-match performance from 18-year-old Billy Gilmour. What a week it's been for that young man there. Big win for Chelsea. This is what it means for the Premier League. Does not make for great reading for Norwich fans, despite their penalty shootout victory against Spurs in the Cup. They do remain bottom of the table, minus 27 goal difference. And Aston Villa and Bournemouth make up the bottom 3. Birmingham City fan is delighted with that, Will, aren't you? And into the top half of the table, Liverpool going great as always. Man City in 2nd, Man United in 7th. So battle for top 4, well and truly alive. Big one for United this year. If they get all 3 points, I know that's not what you want to see, but if they get all 3 points, the top 4 it's quite interesting, isn't it? The top 4 race this season.
Yeah, it has been, apart from the fact that Liverpool have managed to, where everybody slipped up and made their mistakes and maybe got a draw and loss. Liverpool seem to somehow, whether they play bad or not, seem to be getting the 3 points. So they've pulled away, but the rest of the group, it is a very close battle, to be honest with you. And to get in that top 4 slot, there's a few that have the chance. Sheffield United, Wolves, the outsiders that could possibly make it happen. But if Chelsea keep doing what they're doing, then it's kind of set in stone, really, I think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the top 4 battle unfolds. We have got the team news. Team news is in. These are the starting lineups. So we'll start with the home team, Man United. De Gea, back three of Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw, then playing with the wing-backs of Wan-Bissaka and Williams. Then midfield central three of Matic, Fred and Bruno Fernandes, who's been in great form since coming to United, and then Daniel James and Martial complete the lineup. Leanne, what's your initial thoughts of that starting lineup for United?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Sean just said
quiet.
defensive in case you hadn't heard that.
No, I think we're in a really good spot at the moment. You know, like we were saying before, like if you'd have said this to me about a few months ago, I was really dreading this kind of game because I was not looking forward to them. But the way we've been playing of late, but I'm a bit surprised that Daniel James is getting the start over like an Igalo or, you know, Mason Greenwood. You know, I think I'm surprised at that one because especially that he's not played. But as we've seen, you know, Nemanja Matic had been like, he went 8 or 9 games without even being in the squad. Then all of a sudden he's got a new contract and he's playing well. So, but Bruno Fernandes, I mean, he's been a revelation for us.
Every Man United fan is buzzing.
To be honest
about
though,
Bruno
he's
Fernandes.
done amazing things, but he's also done the basic things. Like take a corner and beat the front player. I mean, how many times do we get corners and we do basic things and we don't even beat the front players? So it's great that we have someone in him that can do that. Yeah,
there we go, looking at pictures of Bruno Fernandes in the warm-up. Mikey, are you alongside every other Man United fan I've ever spoken to about how delighted you are with this signing?
Yeah, loving him. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up this kind of form for forever, but like Leanne was saying, like does the basic stuff really well, just adds some creativity to our midfield, like which we've been needing for so long. Obviously with Pogba out, that was just that was exacerbated, wasn't it? And I think since he's come in, he's played more balls into the box than any other player in the Premier League. So he is, like, in terms of creativity from midfield, he looks the real deal for us. So that's great. My one worry today is because we do have quite a defensive shield kind of behind him, he could be a little bit exposed, especially in the first half when we're trying to play on the break. So I think today's going to be his biggest test, definitely, like in a United shirt. So far.
Interesting to see how he plays. Yeah, that's 2 changes, interestingly, from the side that drew at Everton in the league last weekend. So Brandon Williams and Daniel James in for Scott McTominay and Mason Greenwood, both on the bench. Let's have a look at the Man City starting lineup. Sean, I'm going to get your thoughts on this. Big news, Kevin De Bruyne injured, so that is a big blow for Manchester City. This is the starting lineup: Ederson, Cancelo, Otamendi, Fernandinho and Zinchenko. Then Gundogan, Rodri, Phil Foden starting, Sterling, Aguero, Bernardo Silva. That's 5 changes from their league win at Leicester a fortnight ago. Cancelo, Otamendi, Zinchenko, Foden, Sterling all start. Kevin De Bruyne, as I said, misses out with a back injury, so big blow. Kevin De Bruyne not playing, but Phil Foden, I know that you're at the cup final, got man of the match in that. Are you pleased to see him start?
Yeah, I'm delighted to see him start. I think he's shown everybody over the past 2 years what his capabilities are, and for me, he just keeps getting better and better. It's hard to fill the shoes of the people he's trying to fill, like your David Silvas, and obviously now KDB's out.
Big shoes to fill, those.
Some massive shoes, you know what I mean, to fill. But every time he's come in, he's never looked out of place, and he's slotted in the team like he's been playing there ever, basically. And he's got a chance to make that role his own, basically, because David, at the end of the year, is set to leave. So if he keeps up the good work, you never know what could happen for him.
Yeah, it always looks, just looking at his body language there, it's something I've picked up on whenever we see Phil Foden. He always looks very relaxed, doesn't he? And calm for a young player.
He is. If you see him around, I was at the cup final, and obviously I was in the area to see them all after. And the way he just came in was exactly like that. He's a very humble kid. He's a lovely and respectful person. And he always says hello, always smiling and happy. So, and I feel like he plays that exact same way.
I don't know if you saw his tweet as well. It just emphasised pretty much how young he is and how much he's achieved. But he said when City won their first Premier League title, he was a boy watching it, and then 2019 there's a shot of him with Aguero celebrating, and basically saying in the space of 8 years he's gone from watching Aguero as a fan to playing alongside him. And it's amazing to think that he's still only 19, isn't it?
Like it was me, Meeks and Jolyon. We were speaking about it. He could be probably the most decorated young English player there is in history if Man City keep doing what they're doing year after year. Because I think he's already got 5 or 6 trophies already, if I'm correct, at 19.
It's not bad, is it?
Like that,
it's
all right, isn't it?
No, it is all right, yeah. It is all right. It's exactly that. Let's hear what Pep Guardiola had to say ahead of the match. Here he is.
Pep, I'm sure you hope it stays that way, but 6 out of the last 7 games, the away team has won this fixture. Why do you think that is?
6 what?
Out of the last 7, the away team has won.
Here?
No, between City and United.
How? Oh, I don't know. They asked me that the question in the press conference yesterday. I don't know. I think United prefer to play at home, like we prefer to play at home as well. So, football sometimes it's there are periods that normally these kind of things happen.
When you look at their lineup today, how do you think they'll set up?
I think we're playing 5 in the back, 5-2-1-2. I think it's the same setup they play against Chelsea that they won 0-2, doing a good performance. And yeah, so it doesn't matter. They can change it. They can play 4-2-3-1 and diamond. So we play many times and in different ways to play.
Do you think they'll play more on the break in terms of their style?
But I think United was in the recent past more on the break, but now I think they learn with Bruno Fernandes and the players with Fred, McTominay when he plays, and Matic. They have the quality, to play, to make when the team's defense so deep. They have the quality to break this kind of defense. But Ole maybe thought, to break, but I think they'll be aggressive. I think the wing-backs, Bissaka and Williams, make high pressing. So we're going to try to impose our game in our positions and try to make our chances.
No Kevin De Bruyne. Was he close at all?
He feels better, but he doesn't feel 100%, and we don't take risks because we have 3 important games in the Premier League. But of course, in the position that we have is Madrid and Newcastle. The real important games for us, and we don't want to take a risk right now with the players like this. Doesn't feel good.
You've got a team full of international stars who are all focused professionals, but how much has Phil Foden, a Manchester City fan, been saying how important the derby is?
I think it's important, but he doesn't play because he's a Man City fan. Play against United. But this would happen. The recent games when we play against United, he would have played and he didn't play. So, I decide. So in the next 3 games, everybody's going to play to try to arrive against Madrid and Newcastle with the fresh legs to play our finals in the best physical condition and everybody fit.
Thanks, Pep.
You're welcome.
So that was Pep Guardiola, and we can give you the scenes. These are the scenes at Old Trafford. Players coming out of the tunnel, as we said earlier. 2 changes for Man United, 5 changes for Manchester City. So big game to look forward to. Leanne, I think we got there in the end with Pep understanding the stat at the start of the interview. 8 of the last 11 meetings between these 2 teams in all comps have been won by the away side. I mean, how do you go about explaining that?
I don't know, but you know what strikes me about Pep? He didn't obviously know that stat because someone like Pep, he just tries to win every single game.
Yeah.
So that to me, I mean, even I'm a Manchester United fan, I do respect Manchester City. You've got to respect the quality that they have. And I think Pep Guardiola is one of the greatest managers to ever manage in this game. So, it goes to show you that he literally doesn't care about stats. He wants to win every single game. And I think that's why Manchester City have been so successful.
Yeah, good point. That McCubbin? Yeah. Looking at the team, you said you were confident earlier. I mean, we've had you on the show before. At times this season, been less confident.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in one of those moods. But also, I also think this is obviously City want to win this game, but there's more riding on this for United. Like Guardiola was saying, they've got Madrid coming up. That is a massive game. I think this is probably City's best chance at a Champions League in terms of they've got second secured. There's very, very little chance of them winning the league now, so that's pretty much done. And if they can beat Real Madrid, I think they're clearly the favourites in the Champions League.
Do you?
I think so. Yeah. Bayern Munich looked very good as well, but if they beat Real Madrid, that's such a big statement. So I think the game today is more United's to win in terms of there's more pressure on United. There's more. I don't know. I think United should want to win this more than City do, and I think that shows as well with the lineup. Obviously, he didn't rush De Bruyne back because there's more important games coming up. But Solskjaer's brought Maguire back, even though he's maybe not 100% because he did do his ankle in training the other day. So I think that shows that there's maybe more risks are going to be taken by United today.
Okay, as always with the Football Social, we can give you some price boosts courtesy of our friends at Sky Bet. Here we go, just a few to pick out. Look at this one. Harry Maguire to score a header was 20-1. It's now 25-1. Sterling and Aguero both to score in 90 minutes. If you want a City-related price boost, was 4-1. That is now 5-1. And Bruno Fernandes, the man that we spoke about It was 12 to 1, but you can get 14 to 1 on that. Don't forget, you must be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply. All odds are live and subject to change. Please gamble responsibly. We are minutes away from kick-off. Less than that, actually. Seconds, I would say. Will, what are people saying on the stream? Should we get some questions in?
Yes, obviously, very many derbies that have been played. Sean, Tyrone wants to know, what was your favourite memory as a Manchester City player in one of the derbies that you played in?
I think for me, my favourite memory was the one where we won 4-1.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot built up into that game, and to lead the game and then to actually score the goal, final goal in the game was like, wow, because there was a point where I was just waiting for the ball to roll off the pitch, basically, and the ball wouldn't go off. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm just going to get the ball then. And then basically, let's see what happens. And that's basically what I did. And apparently I got told a few times that I've cost a lot of people a lot of money because they bet on 3-1. So a lot of people lost money. So I apologise for that.
Best moment like that.
Is that the best time to score? Like, obviously it's always great to score, but like in a derby, like that's the cherry on top. Go and celebrate in front of the fans.
It was just, I wouldn't say so much it was the best time to score. It's just that, like, we've been on the back of some hidings from United, and then there's been times where possibly we did pretty well and United have still spanked us. So to be able to give them a spanking back made it feel even much better.
Leanne, you've seen some of those victories for United as a fan. What were some of your best memories growing up?
The derby?
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney's overhead kick.
Now,
Van Persie?
Wayne Rooney, was it off his shin?
No.
No?
Look, it doesn't matter. It was a great goal.
Yeah, it was one of the greatest goals ever.
I have to be honest, somewhere along the line today. This is one part,
it was one of the best goals the Premier League's ever seen, and I love Wayne Rooney. Anyway, he's been a fantastic player for Manchester United and England, and I still think people don't give him the credit he deserves. I don't know what more he can do, to be honest, to be respected more and stuff like that. But that, for me, was one of the greatest moments. And then Van Persie's last-minute free kick.
Oh, the free kick, That was late, wasn't it?
That when Rio went over.
Brilliant. That was when he got hit. I think it was when he got hit by the coin.
And if you look at there's an angle of that goal which is amazing. It's literally right in the corner, isn't it? Like the precision of it, absolutely brilliant. Any more questions, Will?
Yes, plenty flying in. Lots of questions here about Billy Gilmour, obviously just coming off the back of another man of the match performance, Mikey. But Hamill, friend of the show, loves the show. He was saying about him playing in the 4-3-3, but how good that is for such a young player to be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's apparently he's a bit of a disciple of Xavi and Iniesta. I think that's who he was watching as a kid, which is pretty nuts because he must have been about 8 years old or 9 years old when Barcelona were going through that era, which makes us all feel old, obviously. But he just looks so classy. Like he just looks so classy in the middle of the park, and for someone so young to look that composed in two quite big games for Chelsea, like obviously against Liverpool, where I think he had Fabinho on toast, which is pretty mad. And then today against Everton, looks really, really good. Looked like one of the best players on the pitch. So,
I've actually got the stats for Billy Gilmour for the game, because you said he got man of the match in the FA Cup game as well. Man of the match again today against Everton. Chelsea's 4-0 win. That was the early Sky Sports game. 91 touches, which was the second best in the match of any player. 74 completed passes, which was the best of any player. 37 passes in the opposition half, the best of any player. 92.5% passing accuracy.
Mad.
This was his first Premier League start. He's 18 years and 271 days.
Go on.
We'll go back to that in a minute. So while it's 0-0, before we get the first goal of the day, stats, not just the stats though, but we watched the game, Sean. Very, very impressive, Billy. And he's a player that you're a big fan of, you were saying.
Yeah, most definitely. I've been watching Chelsea especially this year, more so with Frank in charge and with the band. It had a lot of challenges and a lot of uphill situations he had to get through. And I used to watch when he played Jorginho there, and he did a good job, but he never ever really broke the lines too much. Now, Gilmour's come in, and he's breaking the lines and he's commanding the midfield. He's expecting more from senior players, and that's a rarity to see in such a young player.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's been playing for Chelsea for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. He doesn't look like he's just come into the game. He looked like he's just always been there. And I feel like for somebody so young to be like that just shows how far and how much potential he actually has.
So just on that, you would play Gilmour over Jorginho, would you?
Right now, off the back of the form, yes, totally.
You would?
Yeah. I just feel like, as a player, if you're playing so well, you deserve the right to play.
Leanne, do you go along with that?
Yeah, I mean, I just covered that game on Sky.
Yeah, you
and
had
I mean,
Sky News, weren't you?
I was just, I mean, you know, I didn't get to watch the game completely the other day against Liverpool, but I saw glimpses and he looks fantastic. And today, again, I mean, like Sean said, you know, he's breaking the lines, he's picking up the ball. And what I think makes him so different is that I compared him to, like, when you see someone like a defensive midfielder like Busquets, they always look to go forward.
Yeah. And
that's what I love about I'm an attacking midfielder, and I love it when my defensive midfielder gives me the ball.
Yeah.
And with Billy Gilmour, they're not scared to give him the ball either. Do you know what I mean? It's not they're not looking at him like you can see he's pulling
Liverpool,
strings.
didn't he? And it's like they were giving him the ball in tight areas, which I thought must show that they really rate him.
Yeah, and even in the game today, he picked up a ball and he just pinged it on a dime, like 50 yards.
Yeah.
And he just looks, I mean, he's a brilliant player. I hope that people don't put too much pressure on him.
Yeah, I totally
agree. And I
agree.
hope that Frank keeps playing him because, you know, sometimes people tend to, you know, for Rashford, Mason Greenwood, you know, Mason Greenwood has done well and then he gets taken out the lineup and he goes in and out. And it can sometimes be a bit stifling for players. But with Billy Gilmour, nothing phases him. So I think they should keep playing him.
It's an interesting point, that. I think there is a danger sometimes of overhyping a player at a young age.
Sure.
That's quite important, isn't it, now, that people let him have his natural development?
Yeah, for sure. And I think I wouldn't worry too much if he's not in the team every week at this point. I think it's when you get to like 2021 that it starts to become a worry. I think with Foden, considering how highly rated he's been for so long, I think people are starting to worry about him. But it looks like at the moment, at least, he's you know, starting big games, which is good. But yeah, I think it can go both ways. I think like Rashford, for example, I think maybe was played a little bit too much when he first came in, and I think his injury now is maybe the culmination of being played a little bit too much. So
he was also carrying us for a long time as well.
He was, yeah.
Like literally, Rashford was the only player.
Yeah.
But this is the problem, though.
That's what
why is that his back?
A lot of people have said that.
Good from Will.
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah. But that is a problem, though, because I think even, you know, like from a United perspective, I think, you know, Rashford was carrying us, especially this season with no Pogba. It's like everything was going through Rashford, and gonna have to give him a 2-week break.
But I think people were also criticising Rashford a lot. Some Man United fans early on in the season, and I'm like, people forget his age.
Yeah.
You know, and there's not really, when you look at when, you know, the class of '92 went in, they've got players they can look up to. You know, bring them under their wing. Who's Rashford got to be like, oh, who's going to help him? Lindelof?
Sure,
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah,
we don't have like a Roy Keane in there that's like, okay, there's a young player, I'm going to help them. Rashford kind of was just like on his own, thinking, I've got to do something here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there was almost too much expected of him, because it wasn't like Rashford came through the academy and was supposed to be like the next big fit. Like if you look at like Mason Greenwood now, like Mason Greenwood's way more rated as an 18-year-old than Rashford was. So I think there's just too much pressure on him on his own, for sure.
Let's go back to the game, because there is a corner to Manchester City. Must be quite happy with how City have started this game, Sean.
There's been a couple of early scares, but I feel like the game's settling in for both teams now, and little half chances are starting to creep up.
Smith?
Yes.
Score predictions for everyone?
Yeah, let's get a good shout.
Start with you.
I did say the other day 3-1 United, so I'm going to stick with that.
God, this is so disrespectful.
You're not going to say Man United are going to win?
Yeah, but I was going to say 2-1. At least my score was like...
I'd love it if you'd have gone 6-0 after that. So 3-1 United, you're going 2-1 City?
Yes.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
Go on, Smith.
Yes, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
Don't be copying my draws.
I didn't have time to think about that in my head. It was just right, give a prediction, so I'm going to stick with it. 2-2. Mikey?
I'm going 2-1 United.
2-1. Will?
Go 3-3 myself.
So what Leanne, because you've not done the show before, this is a stereotypical Will. He does 3-3 for every single game, basically.
Okay.
And he says that it guarantees there will be a 3-3.
Or he said 8-0 at the beginning of the show.
Oh, yeah.
He did, yeah.
I was off guard.
But Will is adamant that 3-3 will come in at some point this season, so if he says it enough times.
Yeah, imagine the content.
Imagine the content. Yeah, this is great. Interestingly, going back, we're chatting about Billy Gilmour. That 4-0 defeat was Carlo Ancelotti's joint heaviest defeat of his 25-year managerial career. So not a great day for Everton. Will, any other questions while it's still 0-0 before we await the first of our thriller today, mate?
Yes, Leanne, talking of Manchester United, Ole's been there for some time now. What do you actually make of his performance as a manager? Are you happy, content?
I don't think Ole's the answer long term.
Yeah.
I think we needed somebody to come in and reinstill that Manchester United philosophy. I think at times it was interesting because when he got the job, he had to get the job at that moment because we were playing unbelievable. And then it was almost like he got the job and then we just completely crumbled. It was weird. Like, you know, so I don't know, but I think he's done an okay job. I don't think because you're a club legend that means you're going to be the greatest manager. You know,
Chelsea City!
Be quiet.
Leanne's very relaxed, I've got to say.
But yeah, I don't think he's necessarily the answer long term. I would prefer
More
someone
like,
like a Poch to come in. Or I'm thinking of Allegri, but I prefer Poch to come. I think he's a great manager, and I hope that we don't miss out on a great manager because we're just all for Solskjaer.
Solskjaer. Nice.
Sean, we've got to go to you. We heard some interesting sound effects coming from you. Another chance for Man City. Started the game very well. Good save from De Gea, though.
It was a good save. I feel like Sterling didn't catch it as well as he wanted to catch it, but he still made a save, and let's go.
And it's another corner for Man City early on. We're in the 10th minute.
Fair point.
Ball whipped in. Chance to it. Another corner. No, it's not. It's not a corner. It is a goal kick.
That's good from Martial. Wow.
Very good defending from Martial.
His glove came off.
We spoke about Raheem Sterling with that say half chance there. He makes his 250th Premier League appearance today.
That's mental.
Now, okay, we're going to quiz our panel here. You like a little quiz, didn't you?
I didn't even have a drink.
So Raheem Sterling makes his 250th Premier League appearance today. He becomes the 4th youngest to reach that figure after who?
Rooney's got to be in there, right?
Rooney is one, correct.
Dele Alli.
Owen.
James Milner.
James Milner's another one,
nice.
correct.
That's a good
The other two aren't.
do that.
Okay.
So you've known me for a long time. Why are you surprised?
So sorry, who got that? So Mikey McCubbin got Rooney. Leanne got James Milner.
Dele Alli.
Who is the other player? Not Dele Alli.
What generation?
And they're not English.
I didn't say they're not English.
All right, mate.
I didn't say they were English either.
So no Michael Owen, interesting.
No Michael Owen, no.
Oh, this is a great. This is
Not
really,
Emil Heskey.
Not Emil Heskey, no.
Sean Mike Phillips.
Let us know on the stream as well if you have the
I was going
answer.
to say myself as well,
Yeah.
but it isn't me.
It's someone with a lot of Premier League
Not at
appearances.
that age.
Gareth Barry.
Yes, it is Gareth Barry. There we go.
That was a
Gareth
good
Barry,
one.
Milner and Rooney. Sterling yet to score in his previous
Is that-
19 career appearances against Man United.
We got them all though. That was good.
That was good, yeah. Well done.
Myself, I got it wrong.
Shawnee. Sterling yet to score in his previous 19 career appearances for Man United, which is surprising. Of players to have scored 50-plus Premier League goals, only Robbie Keane has more appearances against United without scoring. That was 22.
Robbie Keane.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, he'd love a goal for Spurs against Manchester United.
Well,
Some of them ding dongs back in the day.
back in the day. And we're,
Oh, no.
God, that
City
was
still on the attack, Sean. Is it a matter of time?
It
For
looks
Man
like
City
it does
to take
look
the
like
lead?
we're knocking on the door, but it's a derby, so it swings and roundabouts. This is just our time, and hopefully we get something out of this pressure that we're putting on United, basically.
Yeah, we're looking a bit weak down the left, I think. I think Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw.
Got them both playing.
And they've been all right as a pair on that left side before, but positionally a little bit dodgy start of the game. So hopefully they
There you
can
go.
work things out.
Oh,
but-
dear. Stay on your feet there, surely.
Oh my.
Another chance for Aguero.
Let's
And it's behind for another Man City corner.
Message, good tracking back.
That was.
Leanne, surely there for Maguire. Day one, stay on your feet as a defender. Just diving in all over the place.
Yeah, but you're. Went past him like he weren't
He
even there.
needed Matic itself there.
Just look at the slow-mo replay. Oh, lovely little nutmeg from Sergio Aguero to put himself into that shooting position, but good defending behind for another corner. 13 minutes on the clock, still 0-0 in the derby. Gundogan stepping up to take the corner.
Was it Rodri at Wembley, wasn't it, with the old downward header?
Ball whipped in.
This is like. Oh, this is.
Where's he
painful.
turning into trouble?
This is painful.
Got to kick it there, hasn't he?
The
Painful
deciding-
already, Leanne.
Yeah, it is. I told you what I'm like with Man United. I'm trying to keep calm. But we ain't even we can't get hold of the ball.
I mean, I'd love to see the possession stats because it has City dominating.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying before the game with the system.
Yeah.
It can either work in your benefit where the wing fullbacks push high, but if they're deep, then there's so much space for City's fullbacks. Like it's too hard for United to get out.
66%.
James drops deep, so basically it's only Martial that's the high player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even Martial's been coming quite deep.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Bruno's up there now.
Yeah. We need the ball to go out of play, really, regroup. But even compared to that, the United's win at the Etihad back in December, City just look more composed. Like even just in midfield, just look a lot better. Not giving the ball away at all.
Deciding factors we haven't talked about. Mike Dean. Last 4 games he's refereed Man City, he's given them 4 penalties, 1 in each game.
Really?
Can he give us one today, then?
Not part of that group.
Mike Dean is the
You're
referee.
going to put a call in for us, Will, or what?
I'll see what I can do. Send a few texts and see what.
It's all about penalties, though, Will. Man City missed each of their last 4 penalties in the Premier League.
Until KDB.
Well,
And they haven't
stepped up in the Champions
missed
League,
5.
right?
Sean, Man City have missed 5 of the last 8 penalties in all competitions.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
And it's not just one player. The worrying thing is Gabriel Jesus, Sterling, Gundogan, Aguero have all missed penalties.
Yeah, I would just give him straight to KDB.
Yeah.
I just feel like just because his technical ability takes free kicks and his delivery on everything just seems to be pinpoint. So
Yeah.
I would just nominate him, even if he didn't want to take him. I'd put the
Make him
pressure
take
up.
Let's do this. Give him the ball. Oh, chance to go United. First chance to go United.
Got to
Oh!
go across goal.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Got to do what my son did, didn't he?
I mean,
Across the face.
got to talk about that, surely, Smith.
Yeah, go on.
Sean, I mean, you talked me through. I mean, I'm talking about more of the celebration earlier, but your son's goal for Blackburn.
Yeah, I say it to him all the time. He played really well in the game in general, to be fair to him. It was a very intelligent performance from him at his age, and going to Blackburn, I think, has helped him a lot because he's playing both age groups whenever he can, so he's getting a lot of football in. And a lot of the stuff he's obviously learned at City, he's getting to put into practice now, so I think he's doing really well. And he took the goal well, which was the main thing, but his play at times was good. He knew when to go in behind, and he knew when to take the man on and get the cross in or come back out and go out the other side, which was, as a dad, was really lovely to see.
And the celebration, sorry, Smith.
Go on.
He got that off me, didn't
Yeah.
Did he get that for you? Yeah.
I mean, at Olympic
You
level,
teach him
that.
more the celebration side or the footballing side, is it?
only the flip, just that far.
How excited are you about his prospects, Sean? And how hard is it as a dad, but also someone who's played at the top level? Is it a hard balance to strike between, obviously you want him to do well in the game, but obviously not putting too much pressure on him as well, because you know firsthand how difficult it is to make it at the very top?
With my son, I'm more of a dad.
Right.
Like when I get a chance to go to the games and stuff, then if I see something, I'll just wait until the game's after, and I'll ask his point of view on the situation. He'll give me his point of view, and I'll give him mine, and then we just have a chat and then see how it pans out. Our dad used to do the same with us. Like, can't just tell him, well, maybe you should have did this. I want to hear his reasons behind it, because his reasons might have been the right reasons why he tried it, sort of thing. Yeah. So I try to let him always be his own man on the pitch, and if he needs help, then I'm always there for him.
And as your dad, how good do you think he can become? And
if he keeps up the way he's been going and learning, I think he'll be better than me.
Really?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Can we have him at Blues for a year?
I'll think about it.
Cheers.
I was going to send him to Villa, though.
Just to annoy Will. There we go. What's this space?
When you think you're getting to know someone really well, and they go and do that. Cheers, Sean.
There we go. Excited to see that. Better than you, he can be. Wow.
Yeah, I think he can.
Because a lot of pressure. Big footballing family, your family. So do you think he feels that pressure as well? Is he quite relaxed about the situation?
If he's anything like me and his uncle, he'll just be cool with it.
Fine.
He'll just see it like that's just everybody else talking. He just enjoys playing a game. Doesn't play it for any other reason. He enjoys working hard. The other day, when I was up there on Friday for the game, one of the academy directors was there, and he went to watch the under-9s training, and he was like, "Well, that's a big under 9 player training with the kids." It turns out it was my son's just gone for a kick around with the under-9s and messing around with them. So he just enjoys playing in general. He just loves learning. He'll always do his extras, even if he's the only one there and there's no goalkeeper. So it's really good for him.
Love that. Back to the game. We were talking about Kevin De Bruyne earlier. Leanne, as a United fan, I presume he's someone that you're pleased isn't playing, because this season, most assists, most chances created, most open play chances created of any player in the Premier League. He must be a player that you're relieved isn't starting, because he's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, like I said, even though I'm a Manchester United fan, I love football.
Yeah.
And, you've got to give credit where it's due, and he's fantastic. And I think when I look at this Manchester City team, it's not a coincidence to me why Man United have been so far off them for so long, because we just don't have enough footballers in the team. I mean, Fred, Matic have done, good of late, but I think we've seen them at their maximum, if that makes sense. I don't think they can go even higher than that. I think they've peaked, and they've done great. But I also think, with someone like Kevin De Bruyne, I mean, his vision, he's powerful.
Range
he's
of passing as well.
and he's quicker than people would even think, because he's so powerful when he's running with the ball. And I just feel like I wish we had a player like him, and the likes of David Silva, even though it's coming to the later stage of his career. But we have not had a number 10. Mkhitaryan was going to be that number 10 for us.
Yeah, he was.
And he looked promising at the beginning. I was like, yes, finally I have a number 10. But in this day and age, you cannot play in professional football not have a number 10, and we've been playing without a number 10 for a long time. Whether Pogba wants to play in all these different positions, he's not a number 10. But we've played without one for a long time, and I think that's why we've struggled.
Yeah,
Pereira, Lingard,
just not on the level. I think Pogba could have been. I think Pogba could have been that guy. I think it's just a shame for him. I just don't think he's had the level of coaching. Do you think I think if you put Pogba in that Man City team on top of his game, he'd be as good as KDB. For me, I think he would be.
Even as a Manchester United
I think he would have been better.
But why do you think though that people make so many excuses for Pogba? Because I'm a Manchester United fan.
Seriously, you think that?
So let's have this debate. So,
Mikey,
you're saying
I think he's a more naturally talented player than KDB. Definitely, definitely.
No chance.
When they were both when Paul Pogba was younger, when Man United signed him, I think he was a bigger prospect than Kevin De Bruyne was at the time.
Forget prospects. Put it on the table.
Yeah, in terms of performances, but then Pogba's been playing in a pretty poor side for the last four years.
Yeah, but he's not the only.
But
he's not the only Premier League player that's playing in sides that ain't. Jack Grealish.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can't compare Jack Grealish.
Yeah, but why not? You saying he's been playing.
Ahead of him.
You're basically saying that he's not put the numbers up because he's playing in a poor side.
But
I'm not saying Aston Villa. I'm not saying Aston Villa are a poor side. But he's in a struggling team, and he's still being recognised to play for England. So you can't use that as an excuse for Pogba.
But I mean, to be, I'm not using that as an excuse for Pogba, because Pogba has very clearly been by far the best player at Man United since he's been there. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the performances,
that's United.
He has been by far the best player. What I'm saying is that if he was playing in a really an actually great side, playing under an actually great manager like KDB and Pep, I think he'd be at least at his level.
So your original argument, Mikey.
I think so. You're saying you put Pogba in one of the world's best teams.
Hang on!
Great defending Ottoman.
No, but I've never seen a player divides fans in the way that Pogba does. Because for me, I was so excited about Pogba coming to Manchester United, and he also, I think his agent's been disrespectful to Manchester United. I think I just don't think he wants to be there, and it's just not worked out for him at Man United. It just hasn't, and people keep saying, he could have been fit for this game, but I don't know. I think people are always talking about Pogba because Bruno Fernandes has come into this lineup and he's done more. We look at the stats and everyone says to me, if you look at the stats when Pogba's had the most created chances, but when I'm at the games, I don't physically see it. If I'm honest, when I'm actually at the games, I don't see what Pogba does for us. I don't. And I don't think we miss him when he's not there. But then people are like, how can you say that? So some people love Pogba and some people don't. And for me, I'm not against Pogba and I wish it did work out for him. But it just isn't working out and it hasn't worked out. And, it seems like at Juventus, it was the best club he could have been at. The fans love him. He loved it there. So if I was him, unfortunately, I think it's time for him to move on because what else? He's played under about 2-3 managers now, and they keep saying he can play in the 3 on the left, he can play in the middle. We're going to play him here, we're going to play him there, and for me, he's not effective.
What's really interesting about this is you're both big Man United fans, and your opinion of Pogba is so different, which I think it illustrates how much Paul Pogba does split opinion.
It's true, and I'm a massive Man United fan, but for me, Kevin De Bruyne is on a different level, in my opinion, to Pogba. What he's been able to do.
Is that the consistency as well, Leon?
Yeah, just the way he's. Consistency, but just the way he plays, the effectiveness. I don't know. I just think Kevin De Bruyne is on a different level.
So, Mike, you're saying that Pogba you think would be more effective than Kevin De Bruyne if Pogba was at Man City?
If he'd gone to Man City at the same time that KDB had, this is all hypothetical, obviously, but I think he had the scope to be better than KDB at that time. I think if you plonk KDB in this Man United team, I don't see how much more he'd offer because he's not playing in a particularly good system, or at least one that's not suited to him. And I think that's been partly Pogba's thing. I'm not letting him completely off the hook. I think I agree with a lot of what you said. I don't think it's worked out for him. I think there are things that he's done wrong, but for me, I think it's more that he's just not playing in a team that suits his capabilities.
You don't agree? I can tell by your body language.
I do agree with some of the stuff he's saying, but I feel like if you put KDB in Man United's team and you gave him the ball, he would still create the same amount of chances. You guys might not score them, but the chances will still be there.
That's exactly what Pogba's
But Bruno Fernandes has done that though since he's come in. Like he's created chances, and I don't understand why that Pogba hasn't been able to do that.
That's what I mean.
I mean, Pogba has done that though. Like Bruno Fernandes still isn't creating as many chances as Pogba was a game. Like he'll hopefully get to that point, but like Pogba was still creating, I think, nearly 3 chances a game, like before he got injured.
But but Kevin De Bruyne is creating more than that again.
Yeah, of course.
City just ain't scoring them. City just ain't scoring them this year.
City create 19 chances a game or something ridiculous.
I think Pogba's an amazing player when he plays. But I just feel like at United, it just hasn't happened. Like,
of course,
I still don't know right now which part of the midfield is his best position. And this is me telling you that I like a player. But I don't get it.
In that sense, though, if I do think though, like if Pogba had like a next to him, I think that would have made such a big difference. I agree. I think his time
players though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's been a lot of players that's gone through without that good CDM that could have reached the same goal. So I feel like that's not only just happened to him. That can happen to anybody.
Yeah, of course. But I just think if you have such a clearly world-class player, but he's kind of made to carry a team when he doesn't, like we were saying, like his position is his best position has always been a little bit up in the air because he's not just an out-and-out 10, and he definitely didn't have the protection behind him to be able to play that at United. He played a bit deeper, obviously, at the start of this season before the injury, and I thought he played quite well. But yeah, like probably a bit too inconsistent as well. But like I still think if you put a player of that quality in one of the world's best teams, then you would have seen him really like hit the kind of superstar status that he just hasn't at United.
I still think he's become a superstar, though.
He's a superstar in terms of his image.
Like marketability,
like he's
still, done... They've done fantastic in the way they market Pogba. Because the kids love him. They play FIFA and they're like, they love Pogba, which is great. But I just think, I feel for him a little bit at times, but I just don't think he helps himself. I don't think he helps himself.
OK, so go on, should we go around then? KDB or Paul Pogba, if you could have one in your team, Will, who'd you go for?
Probably Jude Bellingham.
That's a good answer.
You love Jude Bellingham, don't you?
Huh?
If it wasn't Jude Bellingham...
Go on.
Big chance for Martial.
It as well.
Mikey, big chance for you.
Yeah.
What is that?
Martial goes through and just shoots straight at Edison. I don't know what he's doing there, man. That was not... Look, Bruno's calling for it, man.
First chance for Man United.
Bruno
27 minutes on the clock. Martial straight at the keeper.
Should have squared it to Bruno.
I don't think it's bad he shot. It's just a terrible shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if he's going to take that, he's got to score.
Yeah.
Because he's got Fernandes wide open.
Or at least make the keeper work.
A bit of side netting there wouldn't have gone amiss, would it?
What's going on there?
We've got a...
Mike Dean getting involved.
Mike Dean, there we go. OK, let's wrap it up while there's a break in play. KDB or Paul Pogba, who'd you pick?
Kevin De Bruyne.
Mikey?
I mean, yeah, based on the last couple of years, Kevin De Bruyne.
He's back. Sean's got in his head.
That's not the argument. But that's not the argument we were having. So yeah, there you go.
You guys, KDB. Leanne.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Sean.
Paul Pogba.
Really good.
KDB.
I would go KDB as well.
Cheers.
Let us know what you think, though. It's a very interesting and good discussion, good debate. Good points, well made from everyone, including Will Brazier. Back to you, Bellingham.
You sound surprised.
Let us know who you pick, KDB and Paul Pogba, and a reason why. What I will say is I do think if Paul Pogba, if he went back to Juventus, I think you would see his numbers and his goals and assists, I think he would perform to a very high level. If you
the
watch his
problem-
last season at
but it
Juventus,
blows
He should have
my
got to Real
mind.
Madrid when he had the chance, I think.
Because it's just like
yeah.
I don't think there's been many players that have just torn so many people. It's like this. It's like it's just
he
strange.
does split opinion, doesn't he?
Because I like him. It's
Yeah.
not that I don't like him, but then it's weird.
What would frustrate me if I was a United fan is his inconsistency, because I've seen him literally run games and be unplayable,
Cup.
and then in other games you haven't seen that. So that would frustrate me as a fan of the club if you don't have that consistency, because I'm a big fan of it.
That's definitely one thing that frustrated me, especially last season. I seem to remember there was a game against Southampton where he was actually genuinely poor. But then I think as a United fan, to be honest, I'm quite used to, like, even Marcus Rashford's been quite inconsistent at times. Martial obviously wildly inconsistent. So like I think you just get used to that. That's a product of the team not being consistent in, like, tactically or in terms of kind of game plans coming off. So I think that's just a running theme with this United side, I think.
First goal of the game! Anthony Martial makes it Man United 1, Man City 0. Leanne Sanderson, Michael McCubbin embracing. It's all gone a bit quiet. Has anyone seen Sean White Phillips?
What a finish, by the way. What a finish. We were
Leanne,
getting
your
at
good
before.
friend Sean White Phillips, someone you've known for many years, is very quiet. What would you like to say to him?
Well, it's a little bit early on, but I am happy. Sorry, Sean. It's all right.
I did. That's a great. I think he's took it well.
30 minutes on the clock. What a pass this is. Bruno Fernandes dinks it over the back line.
Great finish.
Oh, Edison though. Oh, Edison.
I think the keeper's got to save that.
Near post.
It's a
The keeper should be doing better there, Sean.
Yeah, I feel like it. If he gets that much of a hand on it, I feel like he should do a bit more with it.
Mikey, you said you were confident.
I feel like they were
You thought you'd get the first goal. You were right. You have.
I
Oh,
think
hang
that
on
might
though.
be
They're
offside.
looking at this. They're looking at this. It's tight. Will it go? VAR will obviously look at it. They're just looking at Carrick and Oliver Solskjaer embracing.
That is an offside.
I think that might be offside.
If he shoulders
It's
off,
very,
It's
very
so
tight.
close, isn't it?
Shut
No,
up.
That's why they call it offside.
What is he doing for?
Sir, remain seated.
Remain seated, John.
What's it used? Did they even look though?
No, that's
I don't
right.
think it was offside.
They would have looked. Yeah, they would have looked at all the goals.
Was he getting clearly played on the left or something? Because I don't know. Like that.
Well,
was...
it was onside. They would have looked at
would
it.
have looked at it.
Goal
I thought
has
it was
stood.
offside,
but
Goal has stood. Sorry, and it's 1-0 Man United. And Sean, City started this game very strong. We just saw the possession stats earlier. 66% possession.
Here we go. There's going to be another one.
Here we...
Oh my God!
So it's all City at the start.
That's
But
all
Man
right.
United take the lead.
Let him off.
Right, so
He is buzzing. Go on, Sean. We haven't had your thoughts on the goal yet.
yeah, the goal was well taken. I think at the time Man City was sleeping, to be honest with you, and I feel like, including the goalkeeper, they wasn't expecting Man United to take a quick free kick, and they got caught off guard. But,
What a ball, though.
Oh,
It was a great ball, and Martial took the finish well, although the keeper should have done better. It's still hard to take a ball like that over your shoulder.
Yeah.
I think we were all taken by surprise by that, to be honest.
We were,
I didn't believe
yeah.
it had gone in.
Let us know on the socials. We'll go to you, in fact.
Yeah.
Happy United fans, what have we got? I'm sure delighted Reds. We can hear the noise at Old Trafford now.
Yeah,
What are people saying?
Lots of happy United fans in there. Lots of people still picking up on the back of our KDB versus Paul Pogba.
Yeah, go on, what are they saying?
Doesn't look good for McCubbin here. Lots of KDBs, but a few Paul Pogbas, mate. Maybe a few McCubbin fans in the stream there. Yeah, lots of comments coming in. Make sure you get your questions in using the hashtag TFS. There's one that's going to be up on the screen off the back of this debate from Mark Caldwell. He says, what would be your combined 11 for Manchester United and Manchester City? I'll rephrase it. Which Manchester United players would get into this Manchester City team?
I think Wan-Bissaka at right back.
Harry Maguire?
For Kyle Walker?
I think so, yeah. I would.
I would say Wan-Bissaka.
Defensively, at least. I know going forward, Kyle Walker would trump him, but... Yeah.
What about you,
Yeah,
Sean? As a City fan, is there any United players, that come into mind straight away? I mean, it's a long pause, I'm going to say now.
Bruno Fernandes, would you...
Yeah, I think that would be the only person I think he would sit in and fit well with the way Manchester City play. And he's very creative up there, but
What keepers?
It's a hard one because it's kind of unfair because that Manchester City's in a good space at the minute.
Right.
If Man United were at that good space, the conversation might be completely different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's a hard question. Like Maguire's just got back fit. If he was playing the way he was playing at Leicester and at his peak again, then you would put Maguire in because you would rather have centre back there than say your midfielder. Do you know what I mean? So there's loads of things. I feel like when Man United get clicking, even though I am a City fan, they have some really good talents. I've always liked Martial, but he's very inconsistent as a striker. Like he could do a lot more with the potential and the talents he has, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's true.
I suppose that's even down to the keepers, isn't it? Leanne Ederson and David De Gea. De Gea probably on his day is the better keeper, but the form he's in at the moment. Well, I mean, Ederson's not in the greatest after that one, but sorry, mate. I mean, even that's a hard debate.
I think that we re-signed David De Gea. Like, I'm so grateful for everything he has done for Man United because he's literally kept us for the last 5 years unbelievable. But when you look at someone like Dean Henderson, I wouldn't want to lose out on a Dean Henderson in order to keep David De Gea because I think we re-signed David De Gea when he was on the decline. Yeah. Not just because he's making mistakes now, because I'm not going to be fickle and be like, oh, well, he's made a few mistakes, we need to get rid of him because that's wrong because he's done magnificent for us. But Dean Henderson's not going to come back from Sheffield United and want to be number 2. No. And Sergio Romero is actually a really good goalkeeper as well. And
consistent, isn't he?
But I don't want to lose out on someone like Dean Henderson. But going off of that question about who could get in, I agree, Wan-Bissaka maybe is the only one. Yeah. Maybe Bruno Fernandes, but...
Anyone having Pogba?
I think...
Sure.
I'd put Pogba.
I wouldn't
Pogba
play him in front of Fernandinho or Rodri.
Fair.
And then he's got back with KDB, which we already got the answer to that.
I think there is an argument for Maguire though, like him and Laporte. I think like John Stones hasn't had a great season, has he? No. So like I think Maguire is a shout as well.
I think Maguire's better than Stones.
Yeah, at this moment in time. Like, if you'd asked me like a year or two ago, I think I would probably rate Stones better. But like this season for sure, like Maguire's been clearly better.
That World Cup, it's like Trippier had to go to Atletico Madrid. John Stones been off the boil. Maguire's not been brilliant at Man United. Ashley Young.
Joe Gomez has had a good season though.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like back five we had in the World Cup.
Yeah, sorry.
Trippier, I think
with the trips,
that was a bit weird.
I didn't see that coming. The
transfer.
I didn't see that coming.
It was weird. Like all of a sudden, everybody just kind of got on his back, and then he was off to Atletico Madrid. But I think he's a good player, Trippier. I would have taken him at Man United. Like he had one season that wasn't great, and all of a sudden, everyone's like, he's not good enough. But I think he's a good player.
He had a great World Cup. He was in a lot of people's team of the World Cup actually. Yeah. So such a good World Cup. But then the season after, so last season for Spurs, he didn't have his best season by his own account as well. There's a lot of errors leading to goal. Didn't have a brilliant season. I think from reports that we read is that I think he wanted a fresh challenge, but. I mean, it's a great fit for Atletico and for him.
Is that the reason, though, isn't it? It's more of a fit, isn't it? Because when you think he was at the World Cup, he was part of that five. He was just mainly getting forward. Different role to what he was at Spurs.
I mean, I've never seen such a quick turnaround for someone that was one of our best players in the team of the tournament, and then all of a sudden just gets completely spy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that happens.
And as for the Stones talk, guys, I think Stones has just been he's had a lot of injuries this year, and obviously sometimes it's hard to bounce back. But if you notice, a lot of defenders make mistakes and sometimes get away with it. I feel like every mistake he's made, he's been punished for it, unluckily.
So even the one in the Carabao Cup,
wasn't it? You know what I mean? Most people would get away with that because it's so far out, but he's just been punished unluckily, I feel like.
He's one of those players as well which he just gets so much flack from fans as well. Like I think, like you were saying, so many centre-backs do make mistakes, and I always feel like whenever he does, it's either maybe in a high-profile game or something, or for England, and everyone's suddenly Stones is rubbish because he grew up, he kind of came to prominence as a ball playing centre-back. So we always. What's going on there?
That's a foul.
Tell you what, Man United player down.
There's going to be a VAR on that.
That was a
Surely there's going to be a VAR on that.
Still in possession, though. Matic with the strike. This was just inside the box, and it was a collision. Now the refs played on. We're going to instantly see how this develops. They have to wait for the ball to go out.
If I was United, that's what I would have done.
And the answer is, boot the ball out. She wants a penalty.
How far can they go back? That's the part.
Wow, that little flip-flap from Wan-Bissaka, by the way.
How long can they? That's a good point.
I don't know.
Well, do you remember the Spurs penalty? It was ages, wasn't it? The break of play,
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I don't know the rule.
That is
so they wait to the break of play, Sean. Now they will obviously look at.
I think they're looking today, aren't they?
That incident.
They are broken at Old Trafford or something.
By the way, the little bit of
Why
skill.
are they not looking?
But this is what I was saying to everyone with VAR. I don't know how it works or when it's supposed to be used.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like the refs have started looking at it as well a little bit more like yesterday and today, haven't they? So like, yeah, it has been like, it does feel like it's changing a lot, like the way that.
But why didn't they look at it? I don't get it.
No.
So the ref played on. They will look at that. Incidentally, by the way, the corner has been taken, so that there'll be no action taken from that. The ref played on. It wasn't given. Mike Dean is the referee.
So what happened?
And that was by the way, that pass there. Did you see that?
You know what? It's because it wasn't on the City.
And also, it hasn't been given. It is still 1-0. And I can't believe we haven't spoken about that bit of skill from Wan-Bissaka, by the way. Unbelievable, isn't it?
He's brilliant. He's not going to say anything. Look at him. At least I gave credit where it's due. I was giving credit where it's due.
What has Wan-Bissaka got to do to get credit, John?
No, I like Wan.
unbelievable.
I think he's a good right back, to be honest with you.
A good right back.
I just feel like that situation there, I feel like he's done great to get out of the position, to get into the position he was in.
Right.
But I feel like the miscommunication from Sterling and
Go on.
Zinchenko, they need to talk.
Sheffield United!
God, put your.
Can we just analyse this half
One
a
of you be on City's side? There's 2 versus 1 here.
We're just after
neutral.
content.
Yeah, we're
Goals.
absolutely neutral.
Sure.
Sean, how do you analyse this half so far? Because you're very happy with the start, and Man City still dominating possession, still on the ball. But United have had a few chances, haven't they?
I feel
And
like
had the lead.
I feel like even though we've had the most of the possession, I feel like United's chances have definitely been the better ones, and could have possibly had more from them. We've had the 1 or 2 half chances. I still think this first half's been a game of like 2 halves. I feel like the beginning of it was Man City, and then obviously as Man United settled down, they've seemed to create more chances on the break, which is how they were set up to do, it seemed.
Yeah, City have the ball down the right flank. Whipped in right now. Ooh.
Too hard.
Too hard. It is out for a Man United throw-in, which United fans seem to enjoy. Will, let's go to you on social. Just remind the viewers how they can get in touch for those joining us.
Yes, I've got the stream right in front of me. Get in touch using the hashtag TFS at Football Daily, at SoccerAM if you want to get involved on Twitter as well. And speaking about getting on the break, we were having a chat in the studio before as well about Daniel James starting. Can Mason Greenwood feel aggrieved not to be in the starting 11, Mikey?
Probably a little bit, based on like how good he's been when he has played. Obviously, his scoring record is fantastic. I think he's like our 3rd top scorer in the league this season. Only 5 goals, but he's only played something like 600 minutes. So, can't really ask anything more of him. I think it was probably a tactical thing. I know he likes to play Martial and James as a 2, just pressing in these kind of games and on the break. He's been all right today.
Yeah.
But I think it is very much a thing with Daniel James. Like he's obviously fairly limited technically.
Can he?
But, what's going on there?
Into the dive.
Dive.
That's a big yellow card for Man City because Fred's likes a tackle.
Yeah, that's
By the way,
true.
He's just taken something away from his game now.
It's true.
I want to see that again.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the
bizarre
replay. Interesting
card,
stats that we just put on your screen, by the way. Man City dominating possession, Sean, over 100 more
I think they
passes.
kicked him.
Oh, Leanne's not happy with
I
that.
think that's a pen.
He touched him.
Go on, Leanne, tell us, talk
That
us
is
through
not
this.
a dive. He actually kicked him.
He did touch it.
Right, so just for those watching, it has been given as a dive, Fred. Free kick to Man City. Leanne, you think there is contact
Well,
here?
initially, hold on.
I mean, there's definitely contact.
Oh, that's a penalty.
Penalty for you.
Well, when I first saw it, I didn't think so. But I didn't think it was a dive. Just
No
'cause, like,
penalty's
Why
been
are they
given,
not
and they've
checking
booked
that?
Fred for diving. Sean?
That is my point. I'm with Leanne on that. I didn't think he touched him, but he has touched him. I don't know whether it was enough, but it states in the rules if you contact in a box, it's a penalty.
But
for
wrong
him to
decision
just
for
go
a
and
booking
give him
for a
a-
dive. Yeah.
You've got to be sure.
But
Surely
not,
he's been
not
told in
happy
his
with
ear
that
that.
decision. Stats that we saw, although we just put on your screen. Man City dominating possession, over 100 more passes, but United 7-1 with the attempts. So, as we were saying, United much more clinical, even though City have had more of the ball. Well, let's go back to you.
Yeah, it was just a point picking up. I think it was Sean Dyche that made it yesterday. I think Chris Wood didn't go down, could have had a penalty yesterday, but he was saying about his players. Obviously, he wants them to stay on the feet and still get the penalty. But Leanne, do you think that's like you almost have to go down even if it doesn't look natural now to get the penalty?
I mean, if you try and stay on your feet, I sound like Rio Ferdinand. He needs to stay on your feet.
Ollie's at the wheel.
They don't give it.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, so it's a hard one because Jamie Vardy's the king of being able to dangle a leg and get a penalty.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's not like people are necessarily diving, but it's like they say, oh, well, he played for it or she played for it. And it's like, well, but if they touched them, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
So whether you play for it or not, if
The
you
leg's
get kicked
there,
in the area, then it's a penalty. So I think the players have to go down because, as we've seen, if they try and stay on their feet, the ref doesn't give the penalty.
It's hard to do.
I think it's really hard for players. I almost think like they can't win in certain situations because to be branded a diver or a cheat or to have that it's not a nice tag to have if you are perceived to go down. But then the flip side of that is if you don't go down and your team doesn't get a penalty when there's contact, you can get criticised from your own sets of fans for not winning a penalty. So it's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, you almost get told you're being too honest,
Yeah.
basically. But when back in my days, I used to say it to the ref. I used to say, so are you going to blow the whistle or not? I used to say to him, he goes, well, I thought it was a free kick, but you stayed on your feet. I said, OK, cool, next time I'll just dive there.
So you've had that conversation with refs?
Yeah.
They've said that? Wow.
With Mike D.
No, I don't. No names.
But it's hard though, isn't it? If you're Chris Wood, you're 6'4", he's a big old lad. He can probably take the contact a bit more.
Will, you're a big lad. Have you had this playing at your level?
See, I'm a tall lad, but I'm not a big lad, Smithy. That's the
Yes,
common misconception.
Did you
If
see
I get
it?
touched, I do go down.
Did you see it?
Go on, sure.
Did you see the Woods situation? Did you
Yeah.
see it? What does the ref see?
Oh, straight
What,
pass.
that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
What was his reason for not giving a penalty?
That's what I
And
mean,
what
isn't it?
was the reason for VAR not to flag it up in the
But
system?
that's a
Because
good
nobody
question.
knows.
Yeah.
Because you can see he doesn't touch the ball.
Yeah.
And there's nowhere else he can go apart from through the guy. So if that happens in the middle of the park, it's a free kick
Yeah, and it's not in Wood's nature, probably.
to dive.
Yeah, to dive. So he's.
I think the referee should be mic'd up.
Do you?
Like the NFL, yeah, I do.
Do you really? Yeah.
I do, because I also think they should have to do interviews after a game,
To
the same
explain
as
the
manager.
thing.
Yeah, the same as managers have to.
I
I think
can
the
agree
referee
with
should
that.
have to. I know
I'm
it's not
with
an easy
that.
job.
No.
Like, I'm not doubting that, but you know, it's like Sean just said, like, when do they decide when they go to VAR and when
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
How do
decisions like we looked at the two high-profile red cards, Jim Son against Chelsea, I believe, and then the Harry Maguire one also against Chelsea, which was, if you actually look at them split screen, they're very similar motions.
Yeah.
And VAR looked at both. One's a red card, one isn't. Do you think that's what's frustrating fans? Is that I think there is a level of understanding with inconsistency when it's a ref's opinion, because every referee in the heat of the moment might get a decision wrong because
Yeah.
it's a tough job. But when it goes to VAR and you still have that inconsistency, is that a concern?
Well, we saw Chelsea Man United the other week, like the fans were leaving in the 70th minute and then Giroud scored and it was actually offside, but the fans were so frustrated at that point because there'd already been about 3 VARs that had gone for or against
Yeah.
them. You know, it's VAR, I'm all for VAR if it helps the game.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, you know, I think one of the best things that was ever brought in was goal line technology.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, that was a fantastic
Yeah.
thing. The buzzer goes off, it goes over. There's no inconsistency there,
quick,
right? It's
yeah.
quick. But, you know, one thing that was for sure is in the Women's World Cup, we were used as guinea pigs for VAR because it
Yeah.
ruined our tournament. Like, literally, they were making decisions during the tournament. They were changing decisions during the tournament because we saw goalkeepers getting
Yeah.
carded for coming off their
Yeah,
line
that's
and then
ridiculous.
might have had a red card
Yeah.
for coming off their line. So, you know, I just think that there needs to be some consistency with the VAR.
Yeah.
It was even like yesterday in Southampton, he got both decisions right, but he looked for the Gineppo red card, he goes and looks at the screen, and then he gives a penalty for Southampton, but he doesn't look at the screen. And it's just like, even Hassan-Houghton was asking him to check the screen, because that's what it was implemented so good in the 2018 World Cup, wasn't it?
See, I think that's an interesting point you make, because when we had VAR in the World Cup, a lot of people, I would say the majority of people were pro VAR than against it
massively, yeah.
because of how it was, and I was a big fan of it. I just think it's how it's been implemented in the Premier League this season hasn't been quite right. And I think, on that note, there's the half-time whistle.
Yeah.
We'll get back into VAR at half-time. It is 1-0 to Man United against Man City at Old Trafford. The camera's focusing on Edison, as we said. Probably feels like he should have done better with that goal. Lovely little dinked pass from Bruno Fernandes. And back of the net, Anthony Martial, great finish. And a few incidents, we just saw Mike in there, a few incidents to talk over with regards to VAR. Pep Guardiola will have a lot to say. Sean, with a Man City hat on, looking at the subs that you've got, do you expect Pep to change it? I mean, as always, looking at Man City's bench, not bad, is it? It's got a few
Yeah,
options.
we got a lot of depth, I'll give you that. But no, I don't think he'll change it yet. Apart from the goal, which I think was a lapse in concentration, I feel like the half-time between both teams, apart from chances, we both have had that fair crack of the whip. It's just that I feel like Man United created a tad more and they've taken a chance that they got, whereas I feel like City haven't.
Okay, Will, what are people saying on the stream? Half-time?
Well, just all over Twitter is now apparently VAR did check the Fred incident and they didn't give a penalty for it.
Interesting.
But then it gave him a yellow card for a dive, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
I don't know if you.
They
I don't
would
know
look
if
at it
you're
'cause
allowed to overturn yellow cards. You can overturn red cards, can't you? But I just don't know if that's like a possibility.
Yeah, VAR will look at those
enough.
decisions, and they have until the break of play to look at those decisions. So it's the ref's call to give the booking, but VAR would have said whether they thought it was enough to overturn. And don't forget as well, when it's an overturning a decision, it has to be a clear and obvious error by the referee. For a decision
but that
to
was
be
a clear, obvious error,
You think
in
it was
my
as simple
opinion.
as that for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be sure that it's a dive to give a yellow card because, like Sean said, this is now maybe Fred might end up getting sent off because Fred's the kind of player that likes to get his foot in. You know, he is a bit late sometimes, so that could completely change the way Fred plays the rest of the game.
The one thing I'll say as well, because I did the VAR course at the start of the season, the message that we were told is that they don't want to be seen to re-referee the game, and that the whole clear and obvious was if it has to be a clear and obvious error for something to be overturned. But do you think with something like that, Sean, that are you in agreement with Leanne that was a penalty? It was a clear and obvious error? Yeah,
I hate to say it, but if you watch it in slow motion, as I imagine they are doing, they're seeing some form of contact. Whether it is a lot or is a little.
Because we saw it once.
It's still contact at the end of the day. And now, of course, I don't want Man United to have a flipping penalty, do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is what it is, do you know what I mean? You see the contact, so you have to give what you see, sort of thing. And like I said to you, it's the same with the situation in the Burnley game. We've all seen it, but some reason VAR have decided it's not a penalty. So who determines whether it's a penalty or not? Because surely the referee needs to go and see it himself. I feel like if VAR get involved, I feel like every referee has to go and look at the monitor.
That's another good point. It's another difference between how VAR is implemented in other leagues and in tournaments is that you do see a lot of on-field referees go to the referee's review area, the monitor, which is usually by the tunnels, the dugout. But it very rarely has it happened this season that referees have gone to look at their own decision.
But like, I did something, I think it was earlier this afternoon with obviously Cammy and Alex, and he went over to the touch in Southampton. Why has that just never happened in any other game? Why is it only that game? I just feel like I said, if VAR do get involved with a decision, I feel like the referee should go and have a look at himself, because then if he doesn't, then he's not actually making the decision anyway. So what do we need him on the pitch for?
Yeah, it's true.
Especially like, offsides in the ear, red cards and penalties. Have a look at the screen.
Yeah, have a look at yourself. Give your opinion.
There we go.
Yeah, I want to pick up the point you made earlier about you said the Women's World Cup, guinea pigs, and it's very frustrating. You've spoken to a lot of players and teammates. Do most people, are they against VAR, players that you've spoken to in the men's, women's game, pundits? Is it because I remember Declan Rice saying that, alluding to the fact that all the players are sort of against it, which is obviously a big statement. But do you think that is the case? A lot of players are frustrated with it.
I think frustration. I don't think everybody's against it. I mean, I've not spoken to everyone in the world, but I don't know.
Good point.
But at the same time, you know,
Can you, Liam?
unfortunately, I'll do that by the next show.
You need,
But
They're
yeah,
a lot
I mean,
frustrated with it.
Yeah, because the thing is, like I said, at the Women's World Cup, it literally ruined the tournament. But one thing I don't like about VAR is that when players score, like in the Women's World Cup, what we saw Ellen White score a goal and she didn't even feel like she could celebrate. Looking at the lino, and there was sometimes the goals were given and you're celebrating like a delayed reaction. Then it's not the same. There's nothing better. It's the same as when players get carded for taking off their shirt and things like that and celebrating with the fans. That is why we watch the game. We watch the game to see the celebrations. You know, we watch the game to see the fans with the players. It's such a great time, and I feel like that's getting lost in the game because people are too concerned about, is it a goal, isn't it a goal? But like, you said you went on the VAR course at the beginning of the season. Do you feel like it's transparent? Like, do you feel like the stuff they said to you on that course is like what you're seeing, or do you still have question marks?
It's an interesting question, actually, because it was at the start of the season, so when people were asked what they think of VAR, I think it was such an early stage that people didn't know whether or not it would be successful. The one thing they did say is I think it will take time for it to become, effective 100%, for everyone to be in tune with it. And I think the biggest issue for me is how certain bits of it are implemented. Like, for instance, the offsides now, calibrating the lines. It can't be calibrated to, I think, 100% accurate level because of the frame rate of when they pause it. And when you're giving someone offside for millimetres and it's not that accurate. And I think one of the biggest issues for me as a fan going to the games is also the fans not knowing what's going on in the screen. So I'm not against VAR, and having been on the course, there was a lot of things that they looked at, and that they give you the stats of how VAR will get more decisions right than wrong. And there's a lot of decisions that they will get right because there are ones that are factually right or wrong. So they will get a lot of things right. I just think that they need to improve the communication in the stadium is a big thing for me. They need to work out. I mean, the lines for offside is something I think needs to be looked at as well. I just think there's a lot they need to iron out with it personally. I'm not actually against it. I just think how it's been implemented hasn't been brilliant this season.
I think maybe they should get all the managers together in the Premier League. I just feel like the players and the managers that are representing the club should be involved in the ruling of how VAR is used. So then everybody has an understanding. Nobody can get it wrong. You know what is what. But right now, like, even players don't know when it's going to be used. That's why they ask for it.
Especially like Stockley Park. Why couldn't you get ex-professionals down there? I'm not saying to referee the game, but there's like an assistant VAR down there, like people that have played the game, because a lot of it's just common sense and people who are playing the game.
Agree.
But
I totally agree.
There's a lot of ignorance from was it the PGMLO? Smithy, the people that look after it, like the times to implement change. Like everyone should be looking at the screen from the start of the season, and that didn't come in until about 3 weeks ago. And what we're in now, March. It's just very slow to change.
There we go. We're
Sport Championship club.
We're going to, no VAR in the Championship, of course.
League in the world.
Right, it's a great league. It is a good league. Right, we'll continue our VAR discussion. It is at the halfway point. Man United 1, Man City 0. But there was a game earlier. We can give you some reaction to Chelsea's victory against Everton. Emphatic victory, should I say. 4-0 winners. Goals from Mount, Pedro, Willian and Giroud. 3 of those 4 players out of contract in the summer. And a man-of-the-match performance. We spoke about Billy Gilmour earlier on in the show, and another man-of-the-match performance, only 18 years of age. So what a week it's been for Billy. Big win for Chelsea. And there he is there, Billy Gilmour. And we can get some reaction now from the Chelsea camp after that result.
Billy, Ollie, first of all, huge congratulations in what looked like quite a comfortable performance. Can you assess it for us, Ollie?
Well, we started very well the game with our best strength since a couple of games, strong team character with better confidence, and we've been, if I can say, killer in the box, we scored early in the game and 2-0 at half-time. We needed to carry on to put the game to bed, and that's what we've done. It's another clean sheet. And another one for the little boy. Yeah.
Speaking of which, Billy, quite a week for you, really. First Liverpool, now Everton. Your first Premier League start as well. What was it like for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. Dream come true to make my full debut in the Premier League. But most of all, getting the 3 points and carrying on winning. And hopefully we continue that in the way forward.
When did you find out you were starting today?
This morning, just before the game, we do a meeting and get told the team. So, yeah.
Was he nervous?
He knew before the game, the day before the game.
Oh, okay.
He's done very well again today, and he's got already for 18 years old, young player. He's got a great maturity, and he also listening to the advice. So he's got a nice future in front of him if he stays like that.
Frank, I'm not really sure where to start. For you, what was the best part of that performance?
It's collective, isn't it? Because when you pick a midfield like we picked, particularly that area with youth and players that are very forward-thinking as the 2 8s in our team, you kind of do worry about the defensive nature of the game. But we were spot on every part of our game, not just the midfield 3, but the team, the attitude, the focus. And to be honest, we played like that a fair bit at home this year. But what we haven't done when we've been playing like that is score goals. We haven't had that last bit, which is the unpredictable bit, which is the hard bit to sometimes put your finger on, that bit of quality. Today we had it, but the overall performance is brilliant.
What about a clean sheet as well, back-to-back clean sheets? Is that important for you?
Yeah, it really is, of course, because we haven't had enough of those this season. Sometimes you're searching for the right recipe to get you those clean sheets, and that's a problem in itself because it's not clear in front of you, and that's something where you need individuals there to put in performances that say you can't drop me because I'm part of the good stuff. And it's not just a back four and the goalkeeper, it's a team thing. The work rate from our team today, the pressing from midfield, Mason and Ross in the first half, and Billy, the front players. When you think about Pedro's run, he starts his run from almost in his own half. That's just desire to run, and I thought we had it all over the pitch.
Carlo, first of all, just your assessment of that match. Where did it go wrong for you?
What did go wrong? Everything was wrong. From the first minute until the end, I think that we were not in the game. We were slow. We were we were not compact, and so it's difficult to say something because everything was wrong today. So we have to be focused, to try to analyze the game, what we did wrong, and. We were too slow. We lost a lot of duels in midfield, and of course we were not in the game. So usually we were used to play different game. Today we were not good enough. That is, we don't have to say a lot of things.
Was there enough fight from your team, and if not, why not?
No, we didn't fight. Of course, we lost a lot of duels, as I said. So everything was wrong today. The strategy was wrong, the fighting spirit, the attitude. So we have to look forward for another game that will be difficult, but it can give us motivation, and because it's a derby, and try to do our best.
How do you motivate your team moving forward to not repeat something like that?
No, I think every one of us has to take our own responsibility and try to do better.
Carlo, thank you very much.
Sean, a big win for one of your former clubs this morning.
I called 2-0 before the start of the game, and I think the way it panned out, they played really, really well after watching it. Created a lot of chances, and I was really happy for obviously Billy and definitely Giroud.
Any reaction to the Chelsea game on socials, Will?
Yeah, I mean, lots of people just waxing lyrical about Billy Gilmour getting the T-shirts printed and
getting T-shirts already. Wow!
I'll get them done. That's the Ballon d'Or winner and future England captain. I think we can all agree.
We don't hype him up too much.
Said England.
Yeah. Scotland.
Scotland, yeah.
We wouldn't mind it though.
No,
we wouldn't mind it.
Get it ticking.
Good midfield options Scotland have got, you know.
Him and Scott McSauce in the middle.
Scott
Going to be winning Euros with that.
John McGinn, Billy Gilmour, got a few options. Chelsea, do you think they're confident top four now? They've beaten Spurs, but a few good results, haven't they? Everton, Tottenham, they've come through that tricky period.
I was confident at the start of the season. I'm still confident now, but still think there's a bit of work to be done. There's a Sheffield United and Wolves are my ones to be next in that position. So to keep them at bay, they have to literally win, possibly, I think, majority of their games left to go. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but after seeing them out the last two games, I think they got whatever it takes to do it. I think they can do it.
Leanne, race for top four, how do you see it unfolding as a United fan? You still think you're in with that? Don't forget,
as long as
fifth could
there,
be
I don't care. Nah. To be honest, top four seemed really far away. Like 6 months ago, but it seemed, and no one would have ever dreamed that Sheffield United and Wolves would have been in there. And Burnley, you got Palace in about 10th position. It looks crazy, the top 10. But as long as Man United are in there, that's all that really matters to me, because we need Champions League football. But then at the same time, teams keep getting into the Champions League year after year, but they're not having the quality to I want to make Champions League, but I don't want to just make the Champions League just to get money. I want us to get there and be able to compete. And I think sometimes that's getting a bit lost in football now. People are like, we need to make the top four. And really, like Arsenal did it for years, they get in there and they just don't have the quality, neither did we. So it's like all about money. But, I think Leicester, obviously, and City, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Tottenham.
But I'm hoping...
Tottenham.
Well, the Mourinho effect.
There we go. On that note, we can give you live pictures. These are scenes at Old Trafford. Pep into the away team dugout, of course. We'll let you know if there's any changes. We're looking at the table just then as well. Up to 5th Man United. As things stand, of course, if they get all 3 points today, currently winning 1-0. And, of course, 5th could be good enough, Mikey, for Champions League football.
Yeah, if UEFA upholds its decisions or whatever. Haven't really looked that much. Obviously, it was big news, wasn't it, a few weeks ago? I haven't really followed it since then, to be honest. So can't can't really shed much light on
Yeah,
what's happened since. Obviously, they're going to take it to an appeal.
Yeah.
But I think a 1 year ban for sure will probably stand, whether they get it suspended or whatever. But I think it would be unwise to suddenly see fifth as Champions League football at this point. I think it's going to be like too late in the season before we know that can be a way into the Champions League. So, to be honest, I think if you're chasing Champions League places, you've just got to go for top four. Like, it's as simple as that, really. And if you finish fifth in it and it happens to be a Champions League place, then that's fine. But yeah, I probably would personally back Chelsea. I'd love to see United go on a run towards the end of the season and find some consistency, like we have been threatening to recently. And get in that position, but considering Chelsea's injuries at the moment and the fact they still have been able to kind of carve out results like the one today. Obviously, they lost against United a couple of weeks ago, but I just think they're the strongest. They're the strongest there for sure. I think that midfield, the fact that they've dealt with so many injuries in the midfield, and someone like Billy Gilmour coming in and like staking a claim ahead of so like you were saying, you start him over Jorginho. Like, I think that just goes to show actually that, having brought through a lot of youth players this year, their depth is a lot stronger than I think a lot of people thought. And a lot of players have got up to speed really quickly as well, like especially like someone like Reece James, who's just like I would just start him every game. Like, so yeah, I think Chelsea. If I was a betting man, I'd go with Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I think Chelsea will be finishing in that fourth spot. On the Man City, it's currently with the Court of Arbitration of Sport, of course, the appeal process. It was February the 14th. The City were told they'd be banned from European club competition for the next 2 seasons after being found to have committed serious breaches of UEFA's club licensing and financial fair play regulations. City were also fined 25 million as well, so they're currently in the appeal process with the Court of Arbitration of Sport, and we await to see the outcome of that.
That was offside. That was offside.
There you go.
It is offside. Wow.
It's going to swear then.
Don't swear, Sean. There we go. Sean, are we just looking at replays there? You got a bit excited?
Yeah.
Well offside.
Wait, is it that
Is Brandon playing on?
It's
He's
not
offside.
that far.
He's offside.
So what's happened?
They will look at it though.
He's offside.
I like the.
Oh! Tell you what. So what's happened is the ball is in the back of the net. This is what's happened, Sean. Sergio Aguero's put the ball in the back of the net, which would have made it 1-1. The lines. It's been flagged.
Yeah.
So the goal was disallowed because the flag did go up, but they're looking at it for VAR and they've put the lines out and they're checking the goal for offside.
No way.
This is what happens.
No way, because the Man United players stopped.
Yeah, so the flag went up. We're looking at the replay now. Aguero went through 1-1. Fantastic finish, by the way.
It's a goal. Is it a goal? No.
Offside.
Is he offside?
He's offside.
But
VAR have looked at it, checking it, and it's offside. So, Leanne, your argument there was that United players stopped.
Well,
So it would have been unfair if it had been given.
Harry Maguire looked like he was carrying on, but David De Gea looked like he kind of...
Oh my God! So nearly 2-0. Wait, Sean, can you just begin to explain what happened at Edison, Sean? At full for the first goal. Can you begin to explain what happened? For those who didn't see, can you tell us what happened, please?
I know one thing. He's got a quick 3-yard burst, hasn't he? Because his reaction was pretty good there, but. I just think it's a lapse of concentration. He's taken his eye off the ball to look where he's playing the ball next, and I think
this is the replay. So talk us through this. Talk us through it.
Like, yeah, look, he's looking around. Look, it's just hands under his foot. You know what I mean? Like, he's looking where he's going to next instead of doing it ahead of the time. And I think he just got caught out.
It's passed back to him. Let's just reiterate. He's about 3 yards from his goal line. This isn't the edge of the box. He's about 3 yards from his goal line. He's miscontrolled it. The ball is going into the back of the net, following a poor touch from Edison.
3-yard burst.
But the burst, he just gets there before Martial. And I think it's the impact of Martial on the post that does that. But that is as close to a goal as we've seen. And it comes a minute after, just to reiterate all that's happened, Aguero through 1-1, fantastic finish. It was flagged, offside, disallowed. VAR looked at it because it was very close, but it was the correct decision. No goal, straight down the other end. That would have been 1-1, of course. Man United nearly extending their lead. So if you went for a half-time pie and you've only just come out, you're missing a lot of action.
It's like a millimetre, no? It was tight.
That was very tight.
Yeah,
that was
offside.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we didn't see it from the other angle. Because when I first saw it, I called it, didn't I? I said that's offside. But then, when we saw the replay, it looked like it could have been onside because you didn't see it from the other
side,
angle.
the surge side.
So I don't know what they saw. Like,
It's really.
And I'm glad they didn't give it. But what you were saying about how it carried on.
Yeah.
Would they have just given that as a goal? Because it looked like everybody just stopped.
Yeah, they would have given a goal basically.
Yes.
So I guess you just got to keep going until.
Well, it's an interesting point. If the referee had blown before the ball hit the back of the net, it would have, the original on-field decision would have stood, which is like we saw with Aston Villa. Do you remember the Aston Villa goal at the start of the season?
Thank you.
Which was the wrong decision, but because the ref had blown the whistle, it didn't count.
Yeah.
So it would have depended.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
But the referee blew after the ball was over the line. So that means if when they looked at VAR, and if he was deemed to be onside, the goal would have stood because the ref blew after the ball hit the back of the net.
Okay.
So it would have stood. We're talking about the millimetres. If VAR had adjourned it to be onside, we're looking at it now, the goal would have stood, Sean.
See, he's giving it for an arm. This is what I mean. How can, that's in your run. So basically, he has to run like this.
Yeah.
I think it should always be the foot. It should always be the foot.
It would have been done from the shoulder. It wouldn't have been the arm, so it would have been done with the shoulder.
I thought that part, it was only counted if that's the part of the body you use to score the goal.
Go on. I think it should always be the foot. One time they gave armpit. An armpit was offside.
This is the debate that's rumbling now. It's interesting to read Arsene Wenger's thoughts on it a few months ago. Actually, chance for Man U. Ooh, I thought it was going to.
He does love to shoot from distance, doesn't he? Nah.
Great start to the second half. Thank you very much. Will Mikey, do you want to see a coffee, mate?
He's back in the fan showdown.
Oh, it's got to go!
Let it go.
It's weird to see City playing on the break this half.
City's bench, though, isn't it?
Yeah, go on. Read out the bench, Will, for Man
Jesus, David
City.
Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Kyle Walker even to come on, Eric Garcia, Glenn Bravo.
I can see Jesus coming on.
I think our bench is better.
Go on, Leanne. Read out Man United's bench.
No. Eric Bailly, Juan Mata, Igalo, Mason Greenwood, Scott McTominay and Jinan Zabi.
It's not a bad bench, that, is it?
It's better than we've had.
Options. I was going to say
this the last couple of months.
Yeah, but it's not. Yeah, you're right.
It's not City quality.
It's not City quality.
I like Mason Greenwood. I'm a big fan of it. Isn't he?
Yeah, I like
so
him.
much potential.
I'm with that as well.
So
I
much
like
potential.
him. But I don't know why we don't play him as
That's
much.
the conversation we had before the game as well. If he's your most prolific scorer at the time, you got to play him. I feel like.
I agree.
Especially with Rashford out.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, finishing ability alone, he's pretty much better than anyone in the current squad. But
it must be frustrating for him as well. Because he sees probably the way that the Chelsea players are getting to play, the young boys, and it's it must be frustrating for him because he gets a little run of a play and then he gets benched again and then he goes back in again. And
would it be as frustrating because he's such a young player, though? Do you think he knows that's part of his development, or is it, as obviously you both played at the highest level, is it a simple case of if you're playing well, you deserve to start? Is that what he'll be thinking?
I mean,
Gantly.
I think so. I think he deserves to play.
Oh, that was a good ball, wasn't it?
I think you'd want to play. I think he'd probably... Because how do we know that it helps your development if you are treated like that?
Yeah.
How do we know that? Do you know,
But
the other day...
We were chatting about earlier about Marcus Rashford saying he's someone that's had too much game time and it may have led to certain injuries. And I looked at the minutes recently that Marcus Rashford's played over the last 3 seasons, and it's so much game time. Interestingly, same with Harry Kane, who's also injured. So whether that's just both coincidence, I don't know, or... but you think, simple as that, he's playing well, he should be playing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. One person we haven't spoken much about, Mike, I want to get your take on is Anthony Martial, the goal scorer. We haven't mentioned him loads on the show today. 16 goals this season, his best return for United since scoring 17 in his first campaign. But this is really interesting. Against the Big Six in the Premier League since the start of last season.
Oh, he's bossed him.
10 starts.
No way!
Oh, come on.
Since the start... sorry, Will threw me off a bit there. Versus the Big Six in the Premier League since the start of last season. 10 starts, 8 goals.
10 starts, 8 against the Big Six?
Against the Big Six. That is impressive, isn't it?
Very impressive.
No, but I'm still
that's actually taken me by surprise. I know he's been good against the City the last couple of times he's played them, I didn't expect that from him. But I guess he has. He does turn up on the big days, and I think against the big sides as well, in the way that we set ourselves out to play against big teams, he does have that little bit more space to run into. I think maybe a little bit more space between the midfield and defence, especially when we're playing on the break. So I think maybe these games just suit him a little bit more. And like today, like I mean, also like had a bit of luck with Edison palming his effort into the net, but still a decent strike. So
you know, we're talking about Pogba earlier with the inconsistency being an issue. Is that an issue with Martial, do you think, as well? Because some days I see Martial and he's
before, weren't we? And especially after the Rashford injury, you definitely sense that like Martial just looked so isolated without that support. But I think
fans love him though.
Like, Martial
is like a proper fan favourite, even when he's not playing well. The fans love him. I like Martial, but I just think again, like what you're saying about his consistency, you know. And for me, like he was playing 1 in every 7 games well. This year, I think he's done better. Clearly, he's quality. But the frustration is he doesn't show it enough. And I think with Man United, my frustration for the last couple of years is that you just never know what Man United is going to turn up. We don't have any players that you know I'm going to get that out of them. You know, like when we had Van Nistelrooy, you knew he was always going to score.
Of course, yeah.
You know, David Beckham was always going to put the ball in the box. Joaquin was always going to put in a tackle. Like with our team, you just don't know who's going to turn up.
Chance City.
Good save.
Big chance. That Phil Foden with a strike. What a strike that was. Phil Foden with his left foot from must have been about 25 yards.
It looked like he cut across it, to be fair to him.
I think it took a deflection. Oh no, it didn't take a deflection.
And a lovely save from David De Gea.
It's a great save.
Look at the replay this now.
Good strike.
Great technique on that strike. Probably hitting the bar, do you think?
Difficult to tell from that angle.
City whipped it. Ooh.
But
lively second half start. 56 minutes on the clock.
I think the problem with
all over him, ref.
I think the problem with Martial, like we talked about before, is I think if he's not scoring in a game or he's not getting the best service, he sometimes doesn't offer that much else. Like he's not that creative, doesn't really create many chances. Obviously, is a really good dribbler, but like playing as a centre forward, he's not going to get the chance. He doesn't get the chance to do that as much as when he was playing off the left. So, I think that's maybe it. It's just he doesn't have maybe that all-round centre forward play that we've loved to see from like say Tammy Abraham this season, and plenty of other like centre forwards who I can't really think of right now. But yeah, I think that's maybe just an element of his game that he doesn't necessarily always excel in. I think his link-up play is good, but maybe he just doesn't create enough.
I feel like a major problem he's had for me when watching him over the years is when he does start to get a good run of consistency, he tends to get injured. I feel like if he can stay away from injury, I feel like the consistency will just grow and grow. Because that does disrupt a lot. Liam will tell you in the game.
Yeah, it's true, 100%. No one's denying Martial's quality. You know, he does things where like my dad's an Arsenal fan, and he always says he'd love to have Martial at Arsenal. And I actually think Martial would, not that I want him to leave Man United, but I think he would suit Arsenal. I think he would suit Arsenal, I really do. But he's a bit frustrating sometimes because he either plays really, really good or awful.
That was nasty.
There's no in between.
Cancelo there, giving him a little one back.
57 minutes on the clock, still 1-0. Great start to second half. You pleased with how Man City have started the second half, Sean? Although they did start the first half well.
Oi!
That's horrible, that.
It didn't look like he even touched it.
Mikey.
Leanne, that's horrible, that. Sean, he didn't even touch him. This is what we want, the debate on the sofa.
And he's getting booked, look. Might do it, it's Mike Dean, so you never know. When he booked him for diving.
Mike Dean, smile on his face, it's great to see.
Yellow card is the decision from Mike Dean there.
Yeah, I'm pleased with the way they started, but like you said, we started like this in the first half, and people know in games like this, when you're playing big teams, if you don't take the chances you create, whether they're half or not, you tend to end up on the receiving end of something, which we are at the minute, so hopefully it changes.
Sean, big double sub.
Aguero.
Not a bad two names to bring on. Gabriel Jesus, and I think that's Riyad Mahrez. He's just bending down to put his shin pad on, but they were the two. Aguero coming off. Reaction to that?
Obviously, it's a surprise, as much as a surprise to me as it is to you guys, but I feel like it's not a bad sub to be able to bring on at that time. Do you know what I mean? You know what you're going to get. He's going to run in behind a lot more. He will create a problem just as much as Aguero does, and I feel like he may open something up. And
Bernardo Silva's the other one.
With Mahrez coming on, he can get free kicks in dangerous areas through the way he dribbles, so there's another opportunity for creating a set piece there that we could punish him from.
I think bringing Mahrez on makes that Jesus substitution more dangerous. I think the way they played against not Man City, against Real Madrid a couple of weeks ago, they were just unplayable almost.
I totally agree.
Leanne, if you're Aguero though, what is that like as a player? Give us an insight. It's a big game, a derby match, and your number comes up when you're having a good season, you're in a bit of form. How frustrating will that be for him?
Yeah, I mean, it is frustrating, especially when sometimes with coaches, sometimes you know when you're going to be coming off because you do, from training. Like they sometimes, like especially in the women's game, they'll, I don't know if they do this in the men's game too much, but they'll switch players in training, and you know when you're not going to get on in the game. So I'll say to my mum or dad, I'm like, I'm not going to get on tomorrow, and they're saying to me, how do you know that? And I'm like, I can tell from training. You know, if you're not in the set pieces at all, if you're not in stuff. But someone like Sergio Aguero, he, for me, is one of the best centre-forwards ever in the Premier League. And I don't think he's ever got the PFA Player of the Year. And he never gets in the Team of the Year. And it is astounding to me because he is unbelievable. You know, still kills me now every time I think of when they scored that goal against QPR when we lost the league that day. Like, I never forgave him for that. But he's a fantastic, he's a fantastic player.
Unbelievable player, isn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. But, you know, I think... I just don't think he gets the credit he deserves, but hopefully, you know, having those kind of players on the bench for Manchester City, I mean, I think hopefully Man United, we might bring on McTominay.
Do you think
maybe
you'll see him this game?
Hopefully, maybe.
Oh!
I don't think we're going to go this whole game 1-0. I don't think it's going to stay 1-0. I think if we continue like this, I think City will score. Yeah,
they nearly did. Then actually corner whipped in, headed narrowly over the bar. It's worth pointing out actually as well, we did just see shots of Aguero. He was having his part of his leg iced, so whether or strapped. So whether or not it was a slight injury, and Pep's thinking he wants players at 100% fitness on, and of course Gabriel Jesus is not a bad option to bring off the bench as well. Will, you look like you are deep in thoughts, looking at questions. Just give a reminder to people how they can get in touch with those joining us in the second half, and let's take some questions.
Just deciding what to have for tea tonight. No, if you want to get involved, at TFS, at Football Daily, at Soccer AM, just checking up on Twitter from the Fred incident earlier. So one of the sources, one of the broadcasters there said, Premier League rep on Old Trafford said that Fred wasn't a penalty because it was checked in the immediacy. It wasn't checked in the immediacy of the continuation.
Do you want to start this again, Will?
Yeah, sorry, I can't do it.
That's cleared that up, isn't it? Yeah.
Good job you're not doing VAR.
I know, I actually have got a degree, which is math.
Well, OK, Will, over to you.
It wasn't checked initially. They did check it, but they said there wasn't enough contact.
Right.
That's
what I was
trying to say.
There we go.
So that's Stotley
Still, why did he get a yellow card?
For the dive, though.
I'm not Stotley Park, Sean. I'm not Andre Mariner.
I'm happy he got booked, but I'm just saying, like, it...
Got away with that.
Shoot,
Got away with that. Come on, Danny.
Go on, Will. Any other reaction?
Go on. Go on. Get in the box. Get in the box.
For United.
Good defending.
9 attempts in the game for Man United, just 3 for Man City in this derby. They need to up that 4 on target on your screen now, only 2 for Man City. The score does remain 1-0 to Man United. Get your questions in, Will.
Yes, lots
what
of people
saying?
Speaking about Greenwood as well, obviously City have rolled the dice, but United may be looking to do that to consolidate this 1-0. Kashanga says, I think Solskjaer is handling Greenwood's play time well. We don't need to overplay him and make him injury prone like a Jack Wilshere. Michael.
Jack Wilshere's a very extreme case, though, isn't he? But,
I could agree.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Leanne, because obviously you came through at a really young age as well, and you played a lot of football for Arsenal at a young age. Like, does having that experience of like coming through in that regard, do you feel like that's where you kind of feel like someone like Mason Greenwood would want to be playing like all the time and might be getting frustrated? Is that something you feel like you benefited from at a young age, was playing a lot of football? Like?
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky because I turned pro when I was 14. So that made my debut for Arsenal when I was 14. So that was amazing against Fulham. Unfortunately, we lost 4-1, but I came on and scored. And, you know, Vic Akers showed a lot of belief in me, and he signed me when I was 9, actually, from Elms in Catford. So, you know, for me, it was like, I was lucky that I didn't have to go play for the reserves, but when I did, I felt like I still played well, but it was always, for me, I felt gutted that I wasn't with the first team, you know, and if I was training with them, they'd be like, oh, you've got to go and play in the under-16s at a tournament in Warwick this weekend, and I'd be like, oh, you know, I want to play with the first team. But for me, you know, I was really lucky. I never got injured until I was 28 a couple of years ago. And I never had injuries, touch wood, you know, growing up and stuff like that. I was always really healthy, and I still am. But, you know, I feel like for me, I loved playing at that age. You know, I loved it. And I can't even imagine what it must feel like, you know, for these young players. I mean, Sean will be able to tell you, you know, playing in the Premier League at that age, you know, it must be an unbelievable feeling for someone like Billy Gilmour. I mean, when Rashford first came into the team, he was going to school. Remember there were those pictures and Rooney, and it must be unbelievable. Because for me, I played in an FA Cup final on the Monday night to go to school the next morning, and I'm thinking, like, we played at Nottingham Forest ground, City ground. I think it was in front of like 28,000 people, which was back in the day, which is really good attendance. And then my mum and dad were always good because they made me go to school and I liked going to school, but after playing the FA Cup final, I was 16. All the girls went out after the game, and there's me, I'm going home and like going to school the next day, and I was like, oh God, couldn't even like have a drink or anything or celebrate. But I'm glad that my mum and dad made me do that, but all I could think about was football.
Yeah, wow, even from that age.
Yeah, all the time. From the age of 5, I always knew I wanted to be a professional footballer.
Free kick for Man City, by the way. Was it in?
That's a way.
Still
No,
alive.
you're going to score, you know. As much as it pains me to say it, we're on the back. You've got to make a sub, to be honest.
And it is, the danger has been cleared.
Can't hold on for 25 minutes.
Price boost we can give you on our screen now, courtesy of our friends at Sky. But we saw Gabriel Jesus coming on very recently to score the second goal. You could have got 5-1 on that. You now get 7-1. Don't forget, you must be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply. There we go. Right, City still with the ball, actually, whipping it across. Good start to the second half for Man City. Leanne, let's talk about your career a little bit more, because you won quite a few trophies, it's fair to say, didn't you? Quite a few trophies in Italy, England. Where was your sort of career highlight, would you say, if you had to pick one moment? Was it winning the trophy at a young age? Was it going abroad and winning the trophy? If there's one moment you have to pick as a standout, what would you say it was?
Winning the Champions League with Arsenal. That was in 2007, we won the quadruple.
Wow.
We won everything, and I was only 17. And that was an amazing feeling. But when I say really lucky, I mean, I think winning is a habit, you know, and you don't just win, it's not by luck. And luckily, I've won everywhere I've been to. At Juventus, we just won the double. When I left there in July. In America, I've won a national championship. And my only, you know, for me, winning the bronze medal with England in 2015 was great. But, you know, for me, I wanted to win the gold. I wanted to come first. We all did. But, you know, I think that's the difference between America and England. They celebrate coming first. And we kind of...
Really? That's interesting.
Their manager, like... In America, they're ruthless. Like, when their coach didn't make this final in 2007, they sacked him. You know, that's the standards they have.
Is that a mentality thing, you think? It's just all about ingrained in winning?
Yeah.
And for me, looking at it from the outside, that seems to be a real defining moment for the women's game, how well England, your England did, getting that bronze medal. It seemed like it was great that everyone was watching women's football. Did you know and realise at the time that how much it had captured the imagination back home?
No, I don't think so, because you're so far away. You know, we're in Canada, and we knew that, like, obviously there was people like Prince William sending us messages, video messages. That's amazing, you know, and like David Beckham, and there was loads of people that they put up on the monitor, and they try and show us like things back home. But I think 2015, everybody fell in love with the Lionesses. And I think now, you know, there's more publicity, the games are on TV, so people can critique the girls more. And I think it's a good thing in the sense that there's more standards now. But I think, you know, people often ask me, which team do you think was better, this last World Cup or our one? And I'd have to say our one, because we got the bronze medal. And that's not just because I was there. You know, I'm not saying, my team's better.
But England close again, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were close both times. It was like, I feel like watching it as an England fan, men's, women's, develop any era, it's just never get that bit of luck that
I know.
you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
It felt like that watching the recent Women's World Cup. I don't know how you felt with that, but just a lot of decisions didn't really go their way, did they?
I know. Yeah, I know. It's a hard one, because in 2015, I mean, I'm sure you will remember when Japan, we scored that own goal.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was one of those things you couldn't do it again if you tried.
Freak own goal, wasn't it?
Completely freak. So, you know, but I think hopefully the girls have got another game today and they can get the win. And
yeah, She Believes Cup.
Yeah.
How do you think they'll get on?
Japan as well.
Well, we got to win. I mean, the performance the other day wasn't good enough.
Right.
It wasn't, and you know, I think we know that. You know, and when I say we, I think sometimes in the England setup, there's too much. Like, there's not enough critique. And unless we we need to be better, and we need to say, you know, it's not good enough, as opposed to like the girls are saying, oh well, it was unlucky and all that. But America, I mean, Carly Lloyd's 37 years old and she's the best player on the pitch.
And since you said that twice now, that the difference in the mindset in America, that we need to be more ruthless, you need to critique more, we need to first place as the achievement. You think that's really important, that we need to be more honest in the assessment of England?
Yeah, I mean, I think Phil Neville is going to have a hard time if he keeps tinkering with the team and we don't win.
Right.
You know, like, it's great having young players coming in, but the Americans play their best team every single game. They play their best 11. And they've got amazing strength. They've got their strongest team, because I think we've now lost 5 of the last 9, I think it is. And that's not good. You know, that's not good. So we can look at the development, but you need to get results. And Phil needs to get results.
Did you notice that at a club level as well when you were playing out in America, just like the mentality even on a day-to-day basis from like training?
Yeah, I think for me, for me personally, people often say to me, you know, why don't you come back and play in England? And I just find that when I play in England, people don't really want me to be successful.
Right.
And that's how I honestly feel. Like, I feel like kind of a bit like people are threatened. Whereas when I'm in America, I think my teammates like having me on their team. You know,
Okay.
and they're like, you know, we can be great together. Just because I think I'm a good player doesn't mean I think you're bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is
So I
that
feel
more of like a British mentality thing, like, or like a group thing? You don't, individuality is almost like.
Oh, Chelsea United.
Daniel.
Daniel
He's got
James
a pass
punched
in.
behind for a corner.
He's got to pass that though.
Corner for Man United there.
He's kind of done the same thing
Right.
Martial did to him, didn't he? And
Yeah, similar.
Martial done the same thing.
That's a great ball.
He's been good the second half though. Like in terms of his dribbling, carrying the ball. Just the end
brilliant
product
now.
hasn't been good.
I mean, he's got to pass that.
Yeah.
Again, Fernandes.
Yeah.
He's in a great spot.
Look at that,
The
2 goals
cutback was
today.
on.
He's
if he
not a
could do it.
coincidence. He's always open.
Punch behind for Edison, corner Man United. Suddenly we're at 70 minutes. Feels like the last 10 minutes has flown by. 20 minutes.
proper.
Yeah. Corner for Man United. Will this be the moment they extend the lead? Mikey McCubbin, Bruno Fernandes.
Harry
Harry Maguire had, I think.
Harry Maguire.
Maguire.
They both at the same time.
Now we have someone that can beat
Ball
the front
whipped in.
post.
Harry Maguire! Harry Maguire!
Nearly there,
You
man.
didn't say score, so you're right.
I think we just needed to believe a little bit more and it would have happened, but it wasn't great, was it? But
No.
So, Leanne, picking you up on that, because it's interesting chat. You look at your career, you have played in a lot of countries, England, America, Cyprus, am I right in saying as well?
Yeah.
Italy. Was that part of what you wanted to do, go and experience different cultures, different leagues, or was it just coincidence that those offers came up? How did that
The thing
pan
is,
out?
in America, the league worked 6 months on and 6 months off.
Okay.
So you're professional for 6 months. And then obviously a lot of girls go and play in Australia or Japan. Like Carly Lloyd came over and played for Man City for 3 months. Like, it sounds a bit strange, but that's how the women's game works.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't like taking 6 months off of playing. So that's why when I was at Arsenal for 12 years, and then it seems like when I left Arsenal when I was 21, I went to play for about 30 different teams. But, you know, and that wasn't necessarily the case, but that's what it says on my Wikipedia. But it's more to do with the fact of I don't want to take 6 months off of playing.
Right,
So in the off season, I went to play in Cyprus, and then the league folded in America, and I went to play in Barcelona for Espanyol.
Yeah.
So it was more like, you know, the circumstances. So it wasn't like some teams, you know, it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, you know. And in America, the teams, there's always an expansion team. It's very like the NFL. You know, it's very different to England. But I loved playing for Arsenal. It was some of the best times of my career when I was at Arsenal for 12 years.
Yeah, love that. And Sean, of course, you went abroad, didn't you?
Yeah.
Enjoyed your time abroad?
Yeah, I did actually. I got to play with my brother again, and obviously I got another spell to get to play with Didier Drogba, so can't really complain, can I?
Not bad at all. We'll get back to the game actually, because there is Luke Shaw is down. Mikey, did you see what happened? I missed this
actually.
incident.
Now I was so engrossed in what you guys were talking about, but so yeah, can't really.
But substitution coming on.
Eric Bailly.
Yeah.
Look at those arms.
Yeah, we're just seeing.
Yeah, I think that he might be. He might be a goner, mightn't he?
This is his biggest problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Frustrating for Luke Shaw. Feel for Luke Shaw, actually.
Yeah.
For them too, it's always the same. Like they're always in and out of injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually this season I
He's
feel
done
like
well.
Luke Shaw's been
he's
probably
done well this
been
year.
his fittest season, and he's just started to come into form as well. I was reading earlier he's just become a dad as well. I don't know whether that's anything to do with that. Maybe he's just had that new, you know, had that bump, But yeah, no, this would be a shame if he goes off now. And also, like, I think
he's going to try again.
Changing if we've got to change personnel in the defence at this point in the game, it's always a little bit risky. I think Bailly was really good against Chelsea. I thought I was really impressed considering he'd just come back from injury as well. But I'm always scared when there's a change in the defence.
It looks like he's coming back on though.
Minutes.
We saw it by on the
A bit like you.
but it looks like Luke Shaw is carrying on. It's one of them where I think he probably got that minute where he's nervously limping and trying to run it off. But it'd be interesting to see, keep a close eye on the next few minutes as to whether or not he will last the game. You see this so many times, a player goes back on, tries to run it off, and then ends up coming off. But he is still on the pitch. Luke Shaw, get your predictions.
Did anyone say 1-0?
Still. Anyone say 1-0?
No one said 1-0.
I think I said 1-0, yeah.
Go on, Will, what you got with us? What are people saying?
Yes, people getting their questions in thick and fast. One here from Gaturo. He says, will this sort of performance give United a boost going into next season? It feels like United might be one or two intelligent, high-profile signings away from being formidable. Sean?
Yeah, to be honest, I can see that. I think a bit like Leanne said earlier in the show, a few experienced players that are in the elite category, I feel like it could change a lot for Man United.
Chance for City!
Jesus!
Sean, come on!
Still in play.
It's still in play, Sean.
Oh, save!
Yes. That should have been a goal. That should have been a goal.
Sean, this is tough for you to watch, isn't it? You were confident
15 minutes of
before.
madness.
There's 15 minutes left. You're still 1-0 down. It was another chance gone begging.
Turn.
How did he miss that? It's a great ball from Mahrez.
Yeah.
Sterling's little legs, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not as tall as me, that's why.
So it's still 1-0. And interestingly, Man United looking to become just the third side ever
To do the double.
to do, yeah, Sean knows what I'm about to say, to do the league double over a Pep Guardiola side after Chelsea in 16-17, and the other one was Wolves this season.
And if
Won
you count
both league games
the League Cup away as well.
Man City. Sorry?
Triple, yeah, is it?
Triple.
We got to make a substitution if we want that to be the case, though, in my opinion.
Who
I don't
do you
think-
bring on? Who do you bring off, Leanne? What would you like to see happen?
I want to see Igalo come on, and I want to
Yeah.
see Mason Greenwood,
Be great to see a Gala score, wouldn't it? He'd
because I think
absolutely
he's
love
full of
it.
confidence.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
2 good goals
I love
against
how we're all
Derby.
Man United fans in here.
You got to root for the underdog there, don't you? So, like, that's what it is.
Just want to see a Champions League fight.
Hey?
Just want to see a Champions League fight because
What?
United pushing
versus
Chelsea.
City?
United pushing Chelsea.
Oh right, of course, yeah, true. I think regardless of the results today, I think it will come pretty close towards the end of the season. I feel like Arsenal might kick into gear as well. Maybe not push for top 4, but definitely push for top 6. But I think Wolves as well, like you were saying before, Sean. Like I think I would maybe back Wolves, Sheffield United as well. But I think Wolves. Maybe just because they've got a few more star players.
Yeah, I think that would be dependent on the Europa League, I feel, how far they go in that. Because well, the interesting thing, I was looking at Wolves' squad. They've got a good squad, but they almost played the same 14 players in every single game. They've been very fortunate with lack of injuries, but I feel like the longer they progress, playing Thursday nights as well, whether that'll have an effect on them in the league, although they do look good in the Europa League as well, so that might be another way for them to get Champions League football. We're just looking at replay of that. Another David De Gea save. He's looked in good form today, David De Gea as well, actually. Made a few very good saves. Double substitution for Manchester United. Thoughts on this double sub, McCubbin?
Who's coming off?
I'm happy that McTominay's coming on. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Luke Shaw's going to go to left wing back, I guess.
By the way, Mendy's come on for Zinchenko as well. There's a lot going on. Mendy has come on for Zinchenko.
Martial's coming off for McTominay.
Brandon Williams
as well.
is one that's coming off. Is it Anthony Martial the other?
You changed them.
And it looks like Scott McTominay.
I don't like that.
And Eric Bailly, I believe, are the two. Yes, it is. Confirmation. Bailly and McTominay on for Martial and Williams. Leanne, I'd like you to explain what formation and who's playing where now.
I think it'll still be the same formation for me. I feel like Bailly will just go in Luke Shaw's place and Luke Shaw will revert to wing back. But for me, it's just a risky sub as he just went down injured and they were just about to sub him for the injury.
Yeah, they were just about to sub Luke Shaw.
Yeah, to leave him on.
Is that a risk?
It's a chance I think he's taking.
The other important point, with this is that should the result stay the same, so if Man United get all 3 points today, and Liverpool win their next 2 games, Liverpool would have won the league by the time they play Man City, which means Man City would do a guard of honour at the Etihad for Liverpool.
Why does it always work out like that? It always works out like that, doesn't it?
Quite depressing.
Sean,
Pep's quite gracious.
what are your thoughts on if that happens? It isn't if at this stage, but it's...
As a player, as much as you want to respect the other team that's done so well, it's still hard to take that.
Did you get
have
a guard
to
of
give
honour at Chelsea?
Yes, there was
Who
one
gave you the guard of honour?
No, I can't actually remember.
Can't remember.
No,
I think Chelsea gave United one once in 2008, maybe.
That's when they
And
played
Arsenal and Man United.
The famous one for me was the famous one for me was the Van Persie one. Yeah,
that's
I don't know. Like, I think it's good, obviously, to have respect, but I just don't know if that should be a thing.
Yeah,
Guard
I
of
don't
honour.
know.
It's a little bit
I just don't know who really wants to do it. Like, whose idea is that?
Yeah, because the United one, Chrissy Eagles was walking out as part of the United team, and he was a good player, but he hadn't done much that season, and he was getting a guard of honour.
Chrissy?
Yeah, for United. So
It's just hard to take, innit? Like, you know what I mean? Especially for a Man City fan as well. Like, a player's just as bad. But
can you imagine if it was at Old Trafford and it was Liverpool and they came to Old Trafford and the Man United players had to stand there?
See, with Solskjaer, I don't think he'd do it.
I think that's why the
Do you know
Van
what I mean?
Persie thing is ingrained in everyone's memory as the most famous one, because it was from Arsenal to Man United, and it was at the Emirates, I believe, as well.
It was at the Emirates.
I don't think the Arsenal fans particularly enjoyed that moment. Sean, winning the Premier League as well, is that your, spoken about Leanne's career highlight, was that the stand-up moment for you? Winning the Premier
do you
League?
know what? I think my stand-up moment in my career was the first time I put the England shirt on.
Okay.
I feel like
Proud
as a kid, once I knew I could become a footballer, that would have been like my greatest achievement, was to represent my club and my country. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I feel for me it would have been my England debut.
Love that.
You actually, I was looking at your Wikipedia the other day, Sean. I realised my first time watching England at Wembley, you scored the opener, I think. I think it was Fabio Capello's first game.
Go get the programme, we'll get him to sign it for you.
I don't know where it is now.
Get the programme.
But I was right in the top. I think I was in the the top back seats. But yeah, got a great view. So yeah.
There we go.
Always
Fond
be in
memories
my
of that
memories
goal,
as well.
Sean?
Yeah.
Does that make you feel old, Sean?
Didn't score that many for England, but they all counted. So I was happy I got the chance to do it. Basically, it's not every, especially back then, playing behind like your Becks and your Scholes. You know what I mean? It was a hard task to get into the squad. So I waited my time and I got in. Hopefully, I did well enough.
So I think that brings me perfectly on to the next question. You mentioned some of the players there. You played in a very good era of England players. Who was the standout player in the England squad? All those players combined. Who was the one that lit up training the most?
Stevie G.
Stevie G.
Yeah, for me, I think he's just incredible. I think as a midfielder, he had everything, and he wasn't just nice on the ball. He had the nasty side to him as well. So when games did get tough, he could hang with the best, basically, and his quality just shown all the time. And that's one person I was gutted for that didn't manage to
win the Premier League.
Best
player never to win the Premier League, do you think, Steven Gerrard?
Yeah, I would say that. For me, definitely.
I think with all the guests we've had on Football Station, we've had some brilliant guests over this year and last season as well. I think Steven Gerrard's name, I would say, has been the most common answer of best player that you've played alongside. So many players,
so good, man.
ex-pros, have him. Obviously, of Lamps, Scholes, there's been so many, but the amount of players that say that, Steven Gerrard, and complete player comes up a lot with him.
As a midfielder, very, very complete. He did, like I said, all the nasty stuff as well, and the stuff that you don't want him to do, he managed to do it. Like, he'll leave a bit on somebody in a nice, clever way, do you know what I mean? So I think he was just great. He scored important goals and normal goals, you know what I mean?
Sorry, Sean, just look at these stats, which I want to get your thoughts on. 73% possession, Manchester City. We've just seen some of the Man United's 643 passes compared to Man United's 237. Look at those stats.
That's higher than Barcelona.
That is ticky-tacky football.
643, that's got to be a higher...
But we saw the chances before then. Man United having more chances, Man United winning the game. Will this be very frustrating for Pep to take if it remains 1-0, having seen those? Because I think we probably knew that they would dominate possession. Is that a fair thing to say, the way that City play?
Great challenge.
Great challenge.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think the players will be frustrated in themselves because even though Man United have had more chances, Man City has still created chances to take something from it, and they just haven't done. And if you look at last season, nearly every chance that they created ended up as a goal, and I think that's been the biggest difference this year compared to last year.
Chance to City, get...
Did he get there?
Penalty!
It looks like he's running in sand.
Yeah.
Mike Dean signals for a corner. There's a half chance for a penalty. 50-50 tackle.
To get to the ball.
I need to see the replay.
Replay. Sean, penalty for you, yes or no?
I'm going to say yes anyway.
Oh no, that's a great challenge.
I don't think it was Maguire. Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, right? Yeah, that's
It's almost like Bissaka Maguire simultaneous challenge.
Corner.
Another corner for Man City, whipped in, and it is cleared again. Only half cleared though. Still in the ball. Still in the box.
I just don't know why Mason Greenwood hasn't come on as well. If we hold on to this, I think it will be a massive result for us because I don't think we've necessarily... I wouldn't say we haven't deserved to win, but
I feel like, you're right, but I feel like Man United set up to play the way they are playing, to take the chances off the counter-attacks and little clever plays like where the goal came from, and I think it's worked for them. It might not look nice on the eye, but if that's what he aimed to do, well done to him. His tactics
Yeah,
have
it's
worked,
true.
sort of thing.
I think that's one of the positive things with Solskjaer's reign is that in big games, generally speaking, he's tended to kind of get it right with the personnel in the right places. And yeah, like you're saying today, it hasn't looked great at all. Especially the second half, we've sat very, very deep. But I think like Danny James has carried the ball very well in the second half. He's got a pretty impossible task in his hands now. But yeah. But like I say, I think it probably has been more even. I think when you look at like expected goals afterwards, especially with that chance that we saw like 10 minutes ago, it'll probably be a bit more even. But yeah, it'll be a crazy result.
But United have done all right against the big teams this year. I mean, this will be the double over Man City, which is an incredible achievement. First to take points off Liverpool, of course.
Chelsea 4-0.
Beating Tottenham, beating Chelsea. I mean, it hasn't been the big teams United have struggled against, have they?
No,
Ollie's done well with his game plan in those.
Yeah, it's been very much against the smaller sides that we struggled against, and that's why getting Bruno Fernandes in was such a big thing, because he can create from midfield. Yeah. Like that's the problem. Like against the smaller sides, you need to be able to create from deep. You need to be able to unlock deep-sitting defences.
Oh, City gone in behind. Ball whipped in and it's cleared again. Is that Harry Maguire again?
Yeah.
Harry Maguire seems to have made a lot of last-ditch challenges and getting his body in the right place. 5 minutes left on the clock. Sean, are we going to see a late City equaliser? You're on the edge of your seat, literally.
I would hope so, but even though Man United are sitting deep, they're defending very well. I think Maguire's defended, especially the crosses that are coming very well, as you've seen. So we're finding it hard to create as many chances as we would like, and you can see that player will just create a chance from nothing, basically.
Even David Silva, you'd have thought he'd have bought on as well.
Yeah, true. But that.
Igalo.
Leanne, you started smiling as soon as you saw Odion Igalo looking like he's about to come on.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, I know a lot of people are a little bit confused why we got him, but it totally makes sense to me. I mean, obviously he used to be at Watford, but so people are like, well, why would we get somebody that played, no disrespect to Watford, but it's Manchester United? Yeah. But I think he's shown that he wants to be at Man United. I think he's a Manchester United fan, and when he plays, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think we miss that sometimes. Yeah. And he has actually got quality about him. Like, he's not like he just is a Man United fan running around like a headless chicken. He actually has, a lot about it's like, he has actually got a bit about him. So, but I mean, I think if Manchester City just had a bit of quality, bit more quality, I think they would have tied this game up.
So
but
nice.
I think Sean was right though. Well done, Bruno.
So they need him
now. In the 87th minute, it's still Man United 1, Man City 0. Are we going to see a late equaliser? Get your thoughts in on the stream. Let's go to you, Will.
Yes.
Let's get people's predictions as well.
Yes, lots of predictions coming in thick and fast. One player we wanted to speak about after yesterday, we haven't spoken much about Liverpool today, but Mo Salah getting his 20th goal. He's got 20 goals this season for the last 3 seasons.
3 seasons, isn't it? Yeah.
100 Premier League appearances, 70 goals. We spoke about Aguero being underrated. But ever since Salah seemed to get, 30, 40 goals a season, we've sort of gone slightly under the radar a bit, Sean. Would you say he's underrated?
I wouldn't say he's underrated. I think he gets all the accolades that he's given through his performances. I wouldn't say anybody's ever said that, I'm not sure about Salah. Since he's come back, everyone's spoke nothing but highly of him. I think the difference between him and Serge is that it's hard for foreigners to come in and hit the ground running. And I feel like Aguero's done it from day dot till here. And he's had maybe 3 or 4 injuries through the season, and he's still been up there winning golden boots. And that's something really hard to do.
What about you, Leanne?
Yeah, I mean, I think Mo Salah does get the credit he deserves, and rightfully so. I mean, he's brilliant. And when you watch him live, he's just, his movement, his strength. And the thing is, he doesn't look like a stereotypical footballer. Do you know what I mean? And obviously at Chelsea, when he was there, it didn't work out for him. But imagine if it all worked out for those players at Chelsea, Kevin De Bruyne, Mo Salah. There's loads of players that were at Chelsea that didn't work out there for them. But, I think that someone like Mo Salah, he does always get in the team of the year. He always gets in amongst it. But the point I was making earlier about Aguero is that I just don't think he gets the credit he deserves. Because he doesn't get those awards. And he doesn't really get in the team of the year.
Mikey, one here for you as well. Solskjaer, can he do a Europa League and FA Cup double?
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe that would be nice, wouldn't it?
For you, yeah.
You don't sound convinced.
Yeah. It's
By the way, Bruno Fernandes off regardless.
Yeah, Fernandes off, isn't he? Yeah, I think he could, but I doubt it. Like, I think this squad would be very stretched to go deep in.
I got too excited.
Edison was good there.
That's quality.
Very good for Edison.
That's quality. He's fast, isn't he?
Yeah.
That was rapid.
No way should Bailly get moved around like that.
Edison's
Marty,
fast.
sorry. Back to Will's question.
I'm getting a bit tense now. I would probably doubt we could go that deep in both competitions. Obviously, there's a lot of football to be played between now and May, and the squad. Although we have had players coming back from injury now, I could easily see a couple more injuries coming in the next few weeks, just because this squad has been quite stretched over the last couple of months. So yeah, I reckon one of them definitely. One of them like
City into the box. Oh.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're one of the favourites in the Europa League now.
Yeah.
So I think one of them we could definitely get.
5 minutes of additional time, Sean.
5.
5 minutes. Yeah, you're not happy.
Where's the new Man United?
What a touch.
Your good friend Sean is next to you 1-0. You've enjoyed this game so far. Are you going to cling on for all 3 points?
I hope so. I mean, that clock seems to be getting slower and slower. From the 65th minute, it seems to have just been ticking along. And this is Sir Alex Ferguson time right now. So I'm hoping that we can hold on. And then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's substitutions won't seem that bad.
Yeah, Sean, facing the prospect of a league defeat, a league double defeat to your biggest rivals, Man United, if it remains 1-0.
I think all of us will be gutted, to be honest with you.
You got your tissues.
Yeah, we'll definitely all be gutted, but right now we've got to try and take the positives away from it, which are the possession at the minute. We've still created a few chances. We haven't taken them as much, and if it does go the way I'm hoping it doesn't, then we have to get on with it and pick ourselves up and be ready for the next game to come, to be honest with you, because we've got a lot of tough games coming up in quick succession, so we have to kind of let it go and get on with it.
91 minutes. 25 on the clock. Man City having all the ball, as we saw with possession, and they have a free kick. And you're not happy with that.
But that's what I said about Mahrez. He can get you free kicks.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's very clever. His brain is a very clever player.
James down.
Daniel James on
that
the floor.
Was a really good tackle. Was that
I think it's been taken short already.
Yeah, I think it was. Zinchenko, I'm not sure.
A brilliant tackle.
Zinchenko's off.
They're not going to get many more chances, Man City, to get a late equaliser. Mendy whips it in.
Fantastic from Maguire.
Yes.
Boy. Look at Odion. What centre forward play?
Mikey's up his feet. Mikey, we're going to see a Man United double this season. What do you think?
Of course.
Will you cling on, do you think?
I don't know.
Why did he do that?
Didn't need to kick.
Don't ask me this at this point. I hate jinxing.
Yeah, he didn't need to kick.
Oh my.
It is end to end. We've got 3 very nervous spectators on the studio. Will. How do you see it going, Will? Neutral perspective.
1-1.
I think it went 1-0 myself.
Oh, that's nice. They just need to be smart.
Easy.
Yeah, no, one. Was that one? That was a Garlo, yeah.
Garlo's loving it.
Oh, it's Matic.
He's good, we're wasting time well.
Am I allowed to walk out?
You can't walk out. What was the score, your last football social, Sean?
3-1.
We won, yeah.
3-1, okay.
It was against Arsenal, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely rampant. This is tense now.
This needs to be a great delivery, Man City.
Yes!
Mahrez straight to Scott McTominay.
Edison's playing.
Edison has the ball in his own box, just outside the box now.
Shoot.
So deep, Man United with everyone behind the ball. But it's been a great game. If this works, it's been a great game plan for Ollie. Man City, you think, will get one last chance. Can they take it? I think Sean Wright Phillips will be off his seat if they can score. And Man United with a free kick as well.
One foul as well.
Look, he's got his
staying down as well.
ankle now all of a sudden.
That's what I love about Scott McTominay.
Lucky.
I love the play acting.
A lot of Man United, speaking of sort of cult Man United players, Scott McTominay is loved by Man United fans, isn't he?
Massive.
Good player.
Look at this.
Look at that.
He's got cramp now as well.
There we go.
2 players with cramp. Sean, are you insinuating they may not have cramp?
They're definitely playing the clock.
Cramps are
Not to say I haven't done it before myself.
There we go. Anthony Martial, man of the match, incidentally. 4 attempts, 3 on target, but the one that matters is 1 goal. Good finish. Edison will be upset. The fact they went under his body near post as well. Bruno Fernandes and him having a nice laugh on the bench. He's bucketing it down below. Absolutely. Heavens have opened at Old Trafford.
It's Manchester, isn't it?
It is Manchester, yeah.
It's known for it.
Yeah, that's very true. Lovely shot of Pep Guardiola and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, both looking nervously on for different reasons. Mike is. Just a matter of time before they blow the whistle now, isn't it?
Well, hopefully, but there'll be at least 30 seconds for this though. Another stoppage.
Mike Dean's smart as well. He knows how to play the clock. Still didn't give one of them penalties yet.
He actually does
all the time, didn't he? He's got.
Oh, he's booked. Who's he booked there?
Time wasting, isn't it?
Really?
Who?
Well, De Gea? I don't know.
Let's see what comes up. I think the people at
Might
the
have
stadium
been,
are trying to find out who got booked as well. 'Cause I don't think
It might have been Jesus for complaining there. We'll get clarity on that.
Interesting.
The 95 minutes mark has ticked. We're on 95 minutes on the clock. There is 5 minutes additional time. Surely Mike Dean will blow the whistle any minute, but of course there was that injury within additional
He'll take
time.
it till 96, I reckon.
So there might be one last chance.
Can't pick that up.
Edison has the ball. Is he going to go long? He is going long as expected. This surely is the last chance of the game. Tom Brady.
Ref.
Out.
Boot
not going to
it.
give you a
Forward.
Love it.
Yes, Fred.
Turn. Time. Oh, you prat.
Lumps up front from Man City.
Love this.
You
This
can
is like
hear
Premier League
the
1992.
whistles at Old Trafford. Every United fan whistling.
Come on.
It's like watching Blues play.
Well done, Shaw.
Yes.
Look at
it's
that.
just Mikey McCubbin's obviously.
Why?
Got to be more in the corner.
Edison goes on. The game is still going. Oh, tell you what. Man United 2, Man City 0. Scott McTominay.
What a goal.
Much scores in the 96th minute. Leanne Sanderson, talk to us.
What a goal! Sorry, my microphone's falling off.
Sure, what a finish.
Reaction to that.
What a goal!
That was
Oh my
ludicrous.
God!
Mikey, you are obvious. It's the most
Did Edison
animated
kick the ball?
I've ever seen
And it went
Mikey
straight to
McCubbin.
McTominay?
Oh man.
Give him the
Edison
contract.
clearing the ball
Give him the
straight to
contract. That's what
McTominay.
he needs.
Mate, that was ridiculous, man.
Mikey, we've seen you play this. Odi Onagana with a little flick.
Edison, sweeper keeper getting caught out there.
Where's this McTominay?
Edison plays a short
he
ball.
plays it straight to
Goes
McTominay.
straight to McTominay. He must be 35
finish.
yards. Dinks the keeper. And look at Old Trafford all on their feet.
Wow.
I didn't even see it because I was fuming
That's
that he didn't
ludicrous.
play it to the corner.
Yeah, and what a finish though.
What a finish, McTominay.
There's no one in the goal. He's meant to be able to score.
Surely right. Sean White-Phillips is not happy.
Wow, what a time.
Manchester United 2, Man City 0. Leanne Sanderson 2, Sean White-Phillips 0. They're good friends. You've known each other for many years. Leanne, you've won the day today against Sean. What would you like to say to your good friend, our good friend, Sean White-Phillips?
Sorry, my friend. But your team's still good.
Sean, disappointing day.
Yeah, it's just 2 mistakes, isn't it? Again, really, isn't it? Like, I feel like Edison should have done better. And obviously, Edison
What
makes
shot.
that mistake
That's,
then
we
again.
have 17,000 passes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I just feel like it's football at the end of the day. Like I said, Solskjaer's tactics have worked. He soaked up play, and the 2 chances, big chances they got, they took. There's not much else.
And you can hear Scott McTominay enchanted. These are the full-time scenes. The whistle has gone.
I just want to go.
It
you know?
finishes. Man United 2, Man City 0. The rain is hammering it down at Old Trafford, but look at these scenes. Anthony Martial with the opener. Scott McTominay, who we said is a fan favourite at United, scoring that second goal. Sean White-Phillips slumping to his seat. Leanne Sanderson absolutely delighted. Edison will not want to watch the highlights back of this game. Could have done better for both goals, Mikey McCubbin.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was very unlike him, wasn't it? Like that throw out to McTominay at the end is pretty unforgivable.
Got to say though, great from Scott McTominay to alert that, because it wasn't straight at him. Scott McTominay was alert to it.
And to take it first time as well. Like he's not he's not a goal scorer, is he? So made up for the guy, to be honest. Absolutely made up for the guy. You say he's a cult hero, like that would just add to his status there. But couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. Holding his ankle earlier as well, just did everything you needed in those last few minutes.
Huge ankle injury,
Are you pleased you got over the ankle injury there, Sean?
Yeah, but to be fair to him, when he has scored, they've always been a belter of a goal. He doesn't actually score tap-ins, so
That's true.
That is something he could do again, basically.
Good to see Luke Shaw as well. We were saying he's been unlucky with injuries. Very pleased to see that his wasn't serious. He carried on as well. Seeing Sir Alex Ferguson rejoicing there. Goal in Fergie time, wasn't it, Leanne? 4 minutes, I believe, or 5 minutes, and it was scored after that mark. Remind me of the Michael Owen goal, though. That was a winning goal, of course.
Yeah.
Drawing, it was the second of a 2-0 victory, but it was a Fergie time goal, wasn't it, nonetheless?
Yeah, I mean, it completely caught me off guard because I was already fuming. I think it was Fred that went to play the ball, and I was thinking he should have gone to the corner, so I turned away, and obviously Edison's thrown it to McTominay, but it's a great result for us, to be honest. And, you know, it just goes to show you, Man City are a fantastic team. They had most of the possession. I think they had like 700 passes for our maybe we had like 200 or something, and like, just goes to show you that you can possess the ball, but you've got to take your chances, and we did.
Yeah, look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And Mike, we've got to say as well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently, I mean, Man United, unbeaten in
10,
is
I
that
think
10 now? Yeah.
I think 10 in all competitions.
Beating some big teams as well.
Yeah, I mean, that includes, the Chelsea win, this win. Obviously, it includes, like, Tranmere in the FA Cup and whatnot. But
it's tough place to go. You got to beat them.
It's true, it's true. The pitch was awful as well.
Probably
not.
Yeah.
So, like... it's probably the best run we've put together really all season in terms of like over a couple of months. I still don't think we've played like spectacularly well, and I've not come away from any game and been like that was unreal. But we've not, you know. Sorry, in the couple of months before that, there were a few games where you were like, we were absolutely rubbish today, and I don't think I've really felt that way in the last few weeks. I think each game there's been a good few players who've had quite standout performances, and today was one of those days we just about got it right, and I don't know, it puts us in a good position. We've got quite a good run, and we've got Tottenham next week. After that, we don't really play any top 6 teams, I don't think, until the end of the season. So as long as we do beat some of those smaller teams, I think we will be in that kind of 5th or 4th race for that position.
Sean, do you think I know there wouldn't be a severe lack of motivation, but now the league is out of the reach, is there like a 5-10% drop-off that maybe Manchester United have capitalised today on?
No, not a chance.
No?
I don't think the way Pep's mentality is and the way you've seen him over the years, they want to win every game. And as much as you may think that's burning them as well right now. Like they won't be happy with that performance, and as none of us would be. But like Leanne said, if you can't take your chances, you end up normally on the punishing end of things, and that's exactly what happened today. Whether it was 2 mistakes from Edison or not, Man United players are in the right players and they capitalised on it.
We can have a look at what that means for the Premier League table. Big win for Man United. Here we go. So Liverpool, of course, as we all know, been top for what seems like an eternity. They are set to win their first Premier League title. Man City, 57 points. Man United, look at that though, just 3 points behind Chelsea in 4th, and a little bit of breathing space ahead of Wolves, Sheffield United, Spurs. Still in the mix, but looking good for Man United. There we go. 7th defeat, incidentally, for Pep Guardiola's Man City, Sean. Did you hear that? Did you hear the moment?
Like I said, like last year, for example, these games, or I wouldn't say these games, but games that we created chances, we was obviously taking. But I feel like this year, the games that we are losing, the teams around us, and especially Liverpool, are capitalising on that, which is why the reason why the gaps are closing and Liverpool's gap is stretching. Whereas last year, you drop a point here or there, we managed to get away with it and extend the gap basically. But it's a hard one because you have to give credit where credit due. Liverpool's just been unbelievable this year. Yeah. They've just been heads above everybody in the league. But as for the teams around, it could have been a lot closer if they had picked up the points when we're dropping points. But luckily, we're in a not a safe position. We've still got to win games to stay there, but we're in a good position to focus on the next games. We kind of have to just drop our hands now, and pick our heads up, and get on with it. Because I think this Wednesday we got Arsenal.
Yeah, revenge game.
And then we got, I think it's Newcastle, and then we've got Real Madrid. You know what I mean? So there's some tough games coming up.
Yeah, big 10 days.
As much as this is going to burn them, that was the best thing about playing football. And at the end of the day, like especially when the games come quick and fast, you have to get out your system, and you got a chance to bounce back quicker rather than it being there for like 7 to 10 days sort of thing.
Still can be a great season for Man City though. I mean, Champions League, FA Cup, they've already won the Carabao Cup. I mean, it can still be a successful season for Man City.
Yeah, definitely. We're still in the race to win the treble.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to someone the other day, and if we win the treble and Liverpool win the league, who's had the better season? So there's still a lot to play for.
True.
Yeah.
And what was from that conversation? You'd say Man City.
Innit? Of course.
You'd agree with that, though, wouldn't you? If Man City won 3 trophies.
But if you class it on trophies, no matter how well Liverpool's done.
It's because Liverpool haven't won it.
Yeah.
So it's like for so long.
World Club Cup, though, sure.
World
Club Cup.
Club World Cup.
Yeah.
Club World Cup.
UEFA Super Cup as well.
World Super Cup.
Yeah, what? Easy for you to say, Will.
Oh, the Cup's a club. That's the treble for Liverpool.
As Man United fans, I heard you say like he might not be Ollie, might not be like your long-term aspect as a manager. But for me, I feel like the more time he has, you can see he's getting better and better. He hasn't been that manager that's gone out and bought like loads of different players. He always tries to get 1 or 2 here,
And
which
young
for me
development.
is a great thing, especially to do as a team, because you can see he's not trying to change much. He's trying to add to what he's already got and make it better. And I feel like, given time, he could possibly not. It's hard to match Fergie, but Fergie got time, and look what that gave Man United. Are they willing to do the same thing with Solskjaer? I think personally they should.
You think he's the right fit? Yeah.
I think they will.
I think he's got the club down to a T. He knows the club inside and outside. I think everybody respects him, even the players that he brings in. And I feel like that's a good base to start with. I feel like this year is his test out. In summer, he gets to most probably buy a few more players, depending on where he finishes. And next year could be completely different for United. And then everybody's going to stop talking about, should Solskjaer go? I think they should give him another full season, me personally.
I think he will get given time as well, Man United. I think the recent turn of events, I think he will get given a bit of time. Mike, you'll be delighted to know we can hear from Scott McTominay.
Great.
Now, here's what he had to say at the end of the game.
What a wonderful moment. How beautiful did that feel?
Yeah, obviously that was such a sweet moment, especially in the game where we could have done with another goal early on to finish the game. But no, credit to the boys who were top draw today. We had a sticky first 15-20 minutes, but you see how much it means to the boys winning the derby again. So that's 3 times this year. So, but we have to keep going. It's a game where we have to take confidence from, but the coming weeks we have to really go for some proper results and keep this run going.
It was a lovely finish, instinctive. Did it just fall right for you?
Yeah, I read the goalkeeper, so you sort of give yourself half a chance because they're obviously rushing. And you get there before Mendy, so obviously it's such a beautiful feeling in front of our fans in like the last 9 minutes. So no, can't get too carried away, but we've got to keep going and obviously keep pushing for Champions League.
It seemed to have cranked up a notch or two. What did you make of the atmosphere today?
Yeah, it's special. Every game at Old Trafford is special, but these games, your Liverpools, your Arsenals, your Man Cities, they're very, very special atmospheres, and it's a credit to all these fans through the thick and the thin of this football club. They're there every week, and it's a real credit, because it's special, and obviously for me it means a lot. Even fans just singing your name, 1 or 2 people, never mind a whole Sheffield end in Old Trafford. So no, it's beautiful.
Is there a newfound resilience, a newfound belief about Manchester United right now?
Yeah, you can see with the run of games that we've been on. Obviously, I've been injured for 2 months, and in myself being injured, I was desperate to get back because I can see the progression of the team, and just to come on and help the boys today was a pleasure. And obviously, I'm fighting for my place. Everybody in this team is not guaranteed a starting spot, and everybody has to keep working every week. So for me, that's one of the most important things. Keep humble, keep your feet on the ground, and keep pushing forwards. We've won a game today, fantastic, but it's the next one, and the next one after that.
How much more special was the fact it was against your neighbours, your rivals?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. I know some City fan well, 1 or 2, so it'd be good to rub that one in the face as well.
Well done.
Top man, thank you very much.
I love the honesty there. I know 1 or 2 City fans. The other thing I took from that interview as well was you could overhear the players in the background, the fans. Big result, and you can tell how much it means to that football club, that result.
Yeah, it's a massive result for us, and I just would never have thought we were going to win this game 2-0. But like I said before the game, I was really excited about this one, and sometimes I get really, really nervous because I told you before I'm a nutter when it comes to Man United. But you know, like today, I felt more excited for the game than I had for a while in this derby, because I always expect City to beat us because they just have better players and they do seem to play better together than we had in the past. But I think last 6 or 7 games, like we've just come alive.
Scott McTominay. Go on, thoughts on his thoughts there. He's going to give a bit of banter to some City fans.
The boy can do no wrong, can he? So, fair play. You know, good luck to him. Hey, I hope the banter's good tonight. I'm sure it will be. So,
Well, what are people saying before we end the show?
Well, it's very much eyes onto that race for top 4 now. Leanne, I wanted to get your thoughts. I don't know if it's good or bad for Man United. They've got Tottenham away next, which, I mean, under the current Spurs form, which is terrible, could be one. We
haven't even discussed that today.
They've got
we haven't, have we?
After that, they've got Brighton, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Southampton, Crystal Palace, West Ham, and then they finish with Leicester. So it's, in terms of running, pretty favourable.
So your thoughts on all of those fixtures, Leanne?
Yeah,
you tell me the individual scores. Basically, after Tottenham, though, it's the bottom half of the table for them to play.
Yeah, but as we've seen, you know, we don't do that great against the bottom half of the table. Like, we do well against the top teams, so we just need to stay concentrated and play like we did today and be composed and have the right, you know... The team selection is a big deal because, you know, in the 65th minute when Solskjaer made those subs, I was a bit like, oh, why are we making these subs? But, you know, what I think the difference is, someone like Scott McTominay, you know, even though I'm not a massive Mourinho fan, I think you've got to give Mourinho credit for the way he brought McTominay into the team, because a lot of Man United fans were like, why is he putting McTominay in, you know, instead of Pogba at one point? He put that, and I'm not saying that McTominay's better than Pogba, I'm just saying. So you've got to give Mourinho credit, but the next game against Tottenham I'm looking forward to because I want to beat Mourinho.
Right, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Are you?
No, I don't really. No, I mean, you have to favour Man United on current form, but like the old cliche, it's a game of football, anything can happen.
But
I think, no, United have obviously... I've been very impressed, actually, watching Man United in the recent... There's 10 games unbeaten in all competitions, but their game plan and how they've set up in certain games, because I think we knew that Man City would dominate possession and passing, but I think you've got to give Ollie a lot of credit for the way they've set up in a lot of these big games and the results that they've had. So yeah, credit to Man United. Been a good day for Man United, isn't it, Will?
Yeah, I mean, is that quite refreshing as well? McTominay was speaking about it there, that competition for places, which maybe over the last 18 months, 2 years, you kind of feel hasn't really been there too much.
No, I don't think we've had a lot of competition for places because of injuries and because of just quality.
Yeah.
But, you know, Matic and Fred has been brilliant this year, and I wasn't his biggest fan. I still don't think he's one of the best players in the world. You know, I still think we can get better players, but I think he's done fantastic for us, and he's been a standout in the recent games. But, you know, it's good that we have competition for places, because I think our team's pretty much picked itself in recent weeks.
So I loved as well from that game, which we didn't speak about, is that the goals in the 96th minute, that everyone was still at Old Trafford, which I know might seem a silly thing to say, but there's so many games you see fans start to leave a bit earlier and everything. It was packed for that Scott McTominay. I love to see that in a derby, full crowd, full house, supporting your team. I like that
as well. He likes the packed Old Trafford.
You like that?
Well, I'm still here, so our crowd's still here.
Do you know what? Credit to Sean as well.
Check out.
Sean, stay. Credit to you, stay. So good day for Man United. Quickly, let's talk She Believes Cup. Leanne, whilst you're on the show, a big game for England. Obviously, they lost to USA, but they played Japan. How do you see the game going?
Yeah, I think we're going to get the win today. I think we are better than Japan, but I think we need to definitely play better than we did the other day. And if we play to the standards that we can, we should get the win. We have to, really. You know, we can't lose another game.
OK, simple as that. Right, that is all we have time for. Apparently we can hear from Pep Guardiola. That's exciting, isn't it? This is what Pep Guardiola had to say after the game.
Pep, Derby Day defeat for you. What's your reading of the game and how it unfolded?
Well, good game. We play good. Our positional game was really good. We missed a little bit, especially in the first half when we arrived in position the 3 quarters to be a little bit more aggressive. We concede a goal, we should avoid it, and after 5 minutes for the spectators, but not much, 1 or 2 counterattacks. Second half was good, and congratulations United.
Were you better in the second half, do you feel? You seemed sharper in the second half.
Well, we're a little bit more aggressive, yeah, but in terms of the way we play good in both sides.
The first goal, you said you should have avoided it. What should you have done better?
Well, we knew sometimes Fernandes made this kind of chipping, but the quality of the opponents always count.
Your goalkeeper made 3 very uncharacteristic errors today. What do you put that down to?
he played. So he saved 1 or 2. So he's an exceptional goalkeeper.
I don't think anybody would disagree with you, but do you think that was unlike him today, those mistakes?
You don't make a mistake, I don't make a mistake. So I don't play. I'm not here to come to judge my players if they make a mistake or good or not make mistakes. It's part of the game. So he will recover, and he's an exceptional goalkeeper.
You spoke before the game, you said with all the games we have coming up right now, we have to rotate things. Does that have any effect on the performance at all?
We play so good, I told you. We play good.
So you don't think you could have played any better today?
Yeah. Even when we win 5-0, we can play better. Yeah.
In terms of the league itself as well, are you in a place where you can't make the intensity, it's not artificial because you're a long way behind first, but also a long way ahead of fourth place as well?
We play a good game, so the schedule we know, so Liverpool is far away and we have to play the game for ourselves, for we thought about today and we did it.
Okay, Pep, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Ooh, okay, thoughts on that, just very quickly, Sean?
Yeah, from what I saw, it sounded like he didn't understand some of it. But for me, he's 100% back in his team. And like he said, everybody makes mistakes. And Ederson very rarely makes them. So to him, it's cool. He's allowed to make mistakes, which is totally fine. But it is a mistake at the end of the day. And in a way, it has cost us. But it's something you don't really see from him. So it's fine, I suppose, that's saying. Yeah. That's the gist I've got from the interview.
Yeah. OK, that is all we have time for, unfortunately, but a few things for you to look forward to. Don't forget, Premier League goals, head over to Sky Sports Football YouTube channel. You get highlights of every single Premier League game this season for free. Click like, click subscribe, as well as a host of interviews with a lot of Premier League faces on there. So head over to there after the show, of course. And we'll be back on Wednesday. Man City against Arsenal. Premier League fixture, of course, and of course Liverpool Atletico round of 16, second leg. Liverpool trailing 1-0. 7:30 Soccer and Football Daily's YouTube channel. Some great guests alongside us as well. Big thank you to Will Brazier, to Mikey McCubbin, Sean Phillips and Leanne Sanderson. Brilliant debut as well. Love to get you all back on the show very soon. We'll leave you with our best bits. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Is this going to be amicable? If one of your teams takes an early lead, is this going to be an amicable day, do you think?
Let's see how it goes.
I love that.
Too much, so...
He was also carrying us for a long time as well.
Was, yeah.
Like, literally, Rashford was the only player.
Yeah. But this is the problem, though.
That's what
why is that his back?
A lot of people say that.
Good from Will.
KDB or Paul Pogba, who'd you pick?
Kevin De Bruyne.
Mikey?
I mean, yeah, based on the last couple of years, Kevin De Bruyne.
First goal of the game! Anthony Martial makes it Man United 1, Man City 0. Leanne Sanderson, Michael McCubbin embracing. It's all gone a bit quiet. Has anyone seen Sean White?
It's not a dive. He actually kicked him.
He did touch it.
Right, so just for those watching, it has been given as a dive free kick to Man City. Leanne, you think there is contact here?
Well, initially, hold on.
I mean, there's definitely contact.
Oh, that's a penalty.
Penalty.
Oh
my God! So nearly 2-0.
Penalty!
Sean, can you just begin to explain what happened at Everton, Sean? Chance for City! Jesus! Sean, come on!
Still in play.
It's still in play, Sean.
Save!
That should have been a goal. That should have been a goal.
Sean, this is tough for you to watch, isn't it? You're confident
15 minutes of madness.
There's 15 minutes left. You're still 1-0 down.
I'm allowed to walk out.
You can't walk out. Man United 2, Man City 0, Scott McTominay. Much more in the 96th minute. Leanne Sanderson, talk to us.